Chapter 571. Well, that's about it. Let's talk about the spirit stones. Why do you all care so much about spirit stones? Logically speaking, these spirit stones should be useless to you all. Why are you all so obsessed with them? Well, Senior, don't you know? Hearing Lin Ray's words, Hu Bing was stunned. His eyes were full of doubts. At this moment, he began to wonder if the person in front of him was from the ghost realm. Everyone in the ghost realm knew about the spirit stones. Even a 3-year-old child knew about it. But his boyfriend didn't know, and he had so many spirit stones. Just say it. Don't talk so much nonsense. Just say it. Yes, yes, yes. Hearing Lin Ray's words, Hu Bing's head suddenly overflowed with cold sweat. Then he wiped off the cold sweat and told Lin Ray about the spirit stones. Although we can't use the spirit stones, we don't know when the 3 ghost kings began to collect them crazily. But there aren't many of them in the ghost realm, and we can't go to the divine realm. Oh. Hearing about the 3 ghost kings, Lin Ray opened his eyes. Then he squinted and asked, Do you know why the 3 ghost kings are collecting the spirit stones? Senior, you're overestimating my Hu clan. We're just following orders from above. A low-grade spirit stone can be exchanged for 100 mid-grade ghost crystals, and a mid-grade spirit stone can be exchanged for 100 high-grade ghost crystals. So, from now on, whenever the ghost world sees spirit stones, they'll fight to the death. Oh. Hearing this, Lin Ray was puzzled. He didn't know about the 3 ghost kings collecting the spirit stones, but he was determined to get the reincarnation mirror. So, he wanted to know more about the 3 ghost kings. But looking at the place in front of him, it was impossible to know more about it. Well, let's talk about other things. Hearing that Lin Ray didn't hold on to this matter, Hu Bing was relieved. Yes, I will tell you all I know. Hu Bing said, in addition to the major forces in the ghost realm, there are also the Alchemy Guild, Formation Guild, Talisman Guild, and Weapon Refining Guild. What? There are 4 major unions in the world of spirits and souls? Hearing Hu Bing's words, Lin Ray was completely shocked. He didn't expect the 4 major unions to have business in the ghost realm. At this moment, when he heard Lin Ray say this sentence, his face changed. What he thought before was true. The person in front of him was really not from the ghost realm. At this moment, there was a problem. If it was not the ghost realm, then where was it? Was it the devil realm or the human realm? But when he felt the pure ghost chi on it, he was puzzled. As for Lin Ray, he felt that he was acting strangely, but he quickly regained his composure. However, he knew that his identity had already been suspected by the person in front of him, following which Lin Ray lay back down. Then let's talk about the 4 major guilds. Do they have a branch in Lake City? Hearing Lin Ray's question, Hu Bing quickly replied, Yes, there are. There are branches of the 4 major unions in Hu City, and the 4 major unions are also influential in the ghost realm. As long as they are unhappy, the entire ghost realm will suffer. Oh, why? Lin Ray was a little puzzled by Hu Bing's words. He didn't understand what he meant. Oh, it's like this. Cultivating in the ghost realm is all elixirs provided by them. Because the ghost realm itself belongs to the Yin attribute, and flames are our natural enemy, we can't cultivate professions such as alchemy or weapon refining. Hearing this, Lin Ray suddenly understood. He didn't believe that there wasn't even a single alchemist in the ghost realm. Hu Bing, who knew that Lin Ray was puzzled, immediately said, However, there are exceptions. For example, our ghost realm's powerhouse, Old Man Tian Quan, and his disciples are all from the ghost realm, but they can refine elixirs. Therefore, the 4 major unions can be said to be important and indispensable to the ghost realm. Regarding this, Linley didn't care about the old man of the heavenly spring that Hu Bing was mouthing. He already knew what he wanted to know. Okay, all right, in that case, has there been any strange things in the ghost realm in recent years? Regarding this question, Hu Bing basically answered without thinking. Yes, and it's in Lake City. Oh, with regards to Hu Bing's actions, Linley believed him. Whatever Hu Bing said at the first moment was definitely true. If not, then this person was a very good liar. Yes, but this is just a legend. I don't know when it was passed down, but it said that there's a CF phone under my Lake City. It's a remnant from ancient times, because it killed millions of people It was sealed here by a mighty person. Hearing Hu Bing's words, Lin Ray had a sneer on his face. He originally thought that this matter was true, but how could an ancient murderer survive in the ghost realm for so long? Moreover, Xiefeng belonged to the fire attribute. Here, fire could restrain everything. Therefore, he didn't believe that this matter was true. Kid, don't doubt it. This matter might be true. At this moment, the system's voice came out of nowhere, but the information it brought was also very important. Are you sure this is true? Lin Ray didn't want to believe the system's words because this matter was very unreasonable. Alas. Okay, I won't argue with you. This matter is indeed true. Moreover, I see that the aura of the Fire Phoenix is getting stronger and stronger. I think it won't take long for it to break out of seclusion. Therefore, I want to say that if there's nothing else, you should leave quickly. You're not a match for the Fire Phoenix. Besides, I'm in a hurry to tell you that originally there was a Fire Phoenix with a pure bloodline underground. However, due to the changes of the Dragon Phoenix tribulation, she had too many people. Therefore, the originally pure flames became evil. Therefore, what he said should be true. Hearing this, Lin Ray was completely stunned. Wasn't the Dragon Phoenix tribulation the immeasurable tribulation of the untainted land? Thinking of this, Lin Ray couldn't help but be taken aback. He began to reevaluate this matter. As for the system, its voice disappeared the moment it finished speaking. In comparison, Lin Ray didn't have a chance. At this moment, Hu Bing, who had been observing Lin Ray, looked at him with a face full of excitement and depression. Hu Bing was stunned by his shocked expression. When he came back to his senses, Lin Ray looked at Hu Bing. Most of his anger towards him had disappeared. Of course, this was because Hu Bing had explained the forces of the ghost realm to him. Okay, I won't argue with you about today's matter. Take these things. Remember, I don't want others to know about my existence. Moreover, if this matter is done well, I may consider saving the lives of the people in Lake City. Of course, if it's not done well, you know the result. As he spoke, the smile on Lin Li's face instantly turned sinister and bloodthirsty. The lives of the people in Lake City? When he heard that Lin Ray was going to give him all the supreme-level spirit stones in front of him, he was very excited. Not only did he save his life, but he also got so many spirit stones. However, after hearing the latter part of the sentence, his excitement and joy disappeared instantly. That's right. With that, Lin Ray smiled. He didn't hide the matter about Xiefeng. Anyway, it was no secret here. Then he said, what you said about Xiefeng before is true. Also, let me tell you a piece of bad news. Take this news as a reward for telling me so much just now. Lin Ray said for a while. Hu Bing was completely stunned. However, when he heard that the matter about Xiefeng was true, he couldn't help but be shocked. What news? Although he asked this question, he could vaguely feel that something bad was about to happen. It's nothing. It's just that Xiefeng's strength is getting stronger and stronger. It may not be long before she comes out of seclusion. What? After hearing the news that Fire Phoenix was going to come out of seclusion, Hu Bing screamed in shock. His face was full of horror, panic, and fear. Senior, is what you said true? Is Xiefeng really going to come out? Looking at Hu Bing's fearful expression, Lin Ray didn't say anything more. He waved his hand, and the reclining chair next to him disappeared instantly. Then he walked out. Before leaving, he couldn't help but remind Hu Bing, don't tell anyone about this if you want to live. Of course, maybe I will be merciful and save your lives when the time comes. At this moment, Lin Ray's figure was still in the restaurant, but his melodious voice came into Hu Bing's ears. What should we do? Hu Bing, who was left in the same place, looked timid. He didn't know what to do now that he knew about such an important matter. He wanted to spread the news and ask the Hu family to move out of Hu City immediately. However, when he thought of the mysterious man's words before he left, he hesitated. At this moment, Lin Ray, who had left the restaurant, instantly used his consciousness to find the location of the Alchemy Guild in Hu City. Then, in a flash, he arrived at the entrance of the guild. At this moment, one of the guards standing guard at the entrance, upon seeing Lin Li suddenly appear, said respectfully, We pay our respects to you, Senior. Please come in, Senior. Okay. Lin Ray glanced at the two of them and didn't say anything more. He quickly walked into the Alchemy Guild. At this moment, with a wave of his hand, a purple robe appeared in his hand and he put it on. When he arrived at the Alchemy Guild, he saw that there weren't many people inside. There were only a dozen people. However, what surprised Lin Ray was that in a corner, there was a little girl about 17 or 18 years old. She had a determined look on her face and was holding an flame in her hand. Facing the alchemy furnace in front of her, the little girl's fearless look aroused Lin Ray's curiosity. Looking at the little girl refining an elixir, Lin Ray chuckled. Then, he walked slowly to the little girl's side. With a light sniff, he knew that the little girl was refining an earth-level medium-grade healing elixir, the rejuvenation elixir. Sigh. Chapter 572. With a sigh, Lin Ray couldn't help but nod his head. It was because the little girl's refining method and the order of refining the pill were wrong. Even if she refined it, the effect would at most be 1/10 of the medicinal property of a real mid-stage earth-stage pill. Although it looked like a mid-stage earth-stage pill on the outside, it wasn't on the inside. At this moment, the little girl who was refining the pill heard someone sigh. She immediately turned her head to look at Lin Ray, who was already behind her, and asked in confusion, "Why are you talking about, Chi? Did I refine the wrong pill? Is there something wrong?" At this moment, the little girl was not in a hurry. She was originally annoyed by refining the pill, but the moment she saw Lin Ray, her anger disappeared. Instead, she was shameless to ask. Looking at the little girl's attitude, Lin Ray smiled and nodded. His eyes revealed a look of appreciation. Then he slowly explained to her, "The person who taught you the refining method probably didn't really teach you. Although it can also help you reach the heaven stage quickly. The consequence is that your veins will be blocked by the fire in your body. When you reach the late stage of the heaven stage and break through to the king realm, the fire will completely erupt. You should know the consequences without me telling you." In this situation, Lin Ray knew it when he saw her refining method again. Although this method could help you quickly condense your spiritual strength to reach the heaven stage, this method was indeed incomplete. The more you practiced, the deeper you would sink until you were finally devoured by the fire and died. Of course, the person who taught this method either had a grudge against the little girl or her family. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so crazy. At this moment, the little girl's face changed when she heard Lin Ray's words. Her face was still innocent before, but in the next moment, it was filled with horror, as if she believed him. Moreover, not only that, the order in which you put the ingredients into the rejuvenation pill is wrong. Therefore, the pill you refine like this will at most have 1/10 of the medicinal effect of a real earth-level pill. Therefore, it's better if you don't refine it in the future. Of course, this is the advice of a passerby like me. If you listen to it, it will be there. If you don't, it won't be there. After speaking, Lin Ray did not stay any longer. He turned around and walked towards the depths of the Alchemist Guild. Lin Ray had been to the Alchemist Guild before. Moreover, Lin Ray discovered that the Alchemist Guild, regardless of whether it was in the immortal world, God Realm, or God Realm, their decorations were all the same. There was not the slightest change. Along the way, Lin Ray didn't see anyone from the Union looking at him. No, it could be said that Lin Ray basically didn't see anyone from the Union. In contrast, Lin Ray's curiosity was piqued. Such a large guild, yet there wasn't a single guard. He was very curious as to what these people were doing. When he reached the end of the corridor, he suddenly smelled a very strange but very familiar smell. After smelling it, Lin Ray froze in place. He closed his eyes and carefully recalled the origin of this smell. After a few minutes, Lin Ray, who had his eyes closed, suddenly stared blankly. This was because in his memory, there was always this smell. It was the medicinal fragrance of the king-level pill, color glass pill. However, while he was thinking, Lin Ray smelled a trace of burnt smell. Quick, the color glass pill absolutely can't be ruined. If this batch of medicinal ingredients is ruined by us, the president will definitely skin us old fellows alive. At this moment, a burst of voices came from the room at the end of the corridor. From the words and the medicinal fragrance in the air, it was easy to determine that they were refining pills. However, from the medicinal fragrance in the air, if they didn't add in some spirit herbs that could stabilize the medicinal properties, this batch of colored glass pills would definitely explode. Yeah, this is already the fourth time today. The president only brought back so many spirit herbs. If this batch of pills can't be refined, our alchemist guild will be closed down. At this moment, bursts of spiritual energy came out of the room. Suddenly, Lin Ray's face changed. His guess was correct. Thanks to the alchemists, they were indeed cultivators, not people from the ghost realm. Suddenly, at this moment, the medicinal fragrance in the air was chaotic. Feeling this, Lin Ray frowned. With a wave of his hand, the door was broken open in an instant. Lin Ray ignored the several old fellows who were angry because the door was broken open. Instead, he flashed to the side of the alchemy furnace, stretched out his hand, and a majestic spiritual energy was used in an instant. Boom! The illusory spirit blood fire appeared in an instant. Suddenly, the temperature of the entire space began to rise sharply. For the sudden appearance of this scene, several alchemists in the room frowned. Although they were angry when they heard that the door was broken open, when they saw the illusory spirit blood fire, their faces became excited. What kind of flame is this? Why does it give me a very gloomy, but very sacred feeling? Moreover, the temperature of this flame is so good that even the ghost Chi has to retreat. Well, yes, what kind of flame is this? And who is this person? Looking at his technique, it seems to be very advanced. I have never seen it before. Hearing this, the other alchemists looked at Lin Ray's alchemy technique. The speed was fast. Before, they could keep up with Lin Ray's rhythm, but later, Lin Ray's speed became faster and faster, and their eyes gradually left the rhythm of Lin Ray's technique. It felt better. The faces of the old fellows around were very uncomfortable. Lin Ray felt good in his heart. Then his eyes only stared at the alchemy furnace in front of him. Then the fire increased, and a drop of true supreme water appeared in an instant. Lin Ray threw it into the alchemy furnace. According to Lin Ray's technique, the true supreme water slowly merged with the colored glass pellet that was about to break. Shwa! In an instant, the moment the true supreme water merged with the colored glass pellet, Lin Ray's fire increased again and began to refine. At this moment, the surrounding alchemists were already stunned. They suddenly felt that the alchemy techniques they learned were fake. Compared with the person in front of them, one was an eagle in the sky and the other was a worm crawling on the ground. There was no comparison at all. However, after Lin Ray came in, their eyes were all attracted by Lin Ray's alchemy technique from beginning to end. They didn't notice that Lin Ray was wearing an emperor-level alchemist's robe. A few minutes later, Lin Ray withdrew the illusory spirit blood fire in his hand. Suddenly, more than a dozen colored glass pellets shot out in an instant. Then, Lin Ray took out a white jade bottle. With a wave of his hand, more than a dozen pellets automatically entered the bottle that Lin Ray had already prepared. A gorgeous performance ended, but now the alchemist behind Lin Ray couldn't calm down for a long time. After doing all this, Lin Ray turned around and looked at the alchemists who were in a daze. Lin Ray coldly snorted. Suddenly, a thunderous sound rang in their ears, and they suddenly woke up. Say, Senior, we have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. We didn't know that it was Senior Alchemist who added it. Please forgive us for our mistake. Seeing their attitude, Lin Ray's expression relaxed slightly. He then said to everyone in a deep voice, "You don't have to be so nervous. I was just passing by and came here to take a look. In the end, when I walked to the door, I saw that you were so wooden, so I couldn't hold back." Hearing Lin Ray's words, the alchemists smiled embarrassedly and stopped talking. They lowered their heads and stood in front of Lin Ray, as if waiting for Lin Ray to speak. "All right, these colored glass pellets are for you." After saying that, Lin Ray stretched out his hand, and a jade bottle instantly appeared in front of one of the alchemists. It floated in the air, waiting for the old man to receive it. Thank you, Senior." Hearing this, the old men were overjoyed. They didn't think that Lin Ray would be so easy to talk to. In comparison, their impression of Lin Ray increased once again. Reaching out his hand to receive the jade bottle, he opened the bottle cap and took a light sniff. Immediately, he was stunned. His shocked expression made the other old men beside him stand up. Immediately after, the other old men sniffed one after another. Like the first old man, they were all stunned. Their eyes were filled with shock. Looking at them, Lin Ray didn't have the chance. Looking at them, he found a place in the room where he could sit and sat down comfortably. After a long time, the shocked old men finally came to their senses. Top grade. This is a top grade pellet? They looked at Lin Ray doubtfully, as if they wanted to confirm the answer that they already believed. And not bad. If you didn't spoil this pellet, its grade might be even better, and the time it takes to refine it would be faster. When those words came out, everyone couldn't help but feel ashamed. Lin Ray's words were undoubtedly about how bad their alchemy skills were. At this, we also researched it ourselves. Since the divine realm and the ghost realm were not the same, our alchemy skills were researched by ourselves, so, hearing their words, Lin Ray came to a realization. It wasn't that they weren't good enough, but that they didn't cultivate any skills at all. Since you're so busy, I'll give this formation technique to you. I also came here from the divine realm. Because I had some things to do, I came back here. What? You came from the divine realm? Hearing Lin Ray's words, everyone was shocked. They were even more shocked than when they saw the top grade pellet. The divine realm and the ghost realm had long been separated. Now, someone from the divine realm came. How could they not be shocked? Not bad. I'll say this in advance. It's very difficult for you to return to the divine realm. I came from the Yellow Springs. If you want to return, I'm afraid you'll be strangled to death by the spirit formation power before you even reach the Yellow Springs. After hearing Lin Ray's words, the crowd who originally had the same thoughts all became silent. They wanted to live more than return. Looking at them, Linley didn't hesitate any longer. He immediately explained the reason he had come. I came here for a reason. Of course, if this matter is handled well, I will impart to you all my knowledge of alchemy. Spiritual medicines, my own pill formulas, my techniques. I can give you all of them. Of course, if you can't help then. Speaking to that point, Lin Ray didn't continue. He believed that even if he didn't say it, they would know what he meant. Chapter 573. Yes. When Lin Ray said this, their faces were filled with surprise. For such a condition, they who had been in the God realm for a long time still needed it very much. And that's good. Seeing that they agreed, Lin Ray nodded and then asked everyone, "Who's in charge here? Where's your president?" Replying to Senior, "Our president has gone to the ghost realm. He said that he will be back tomorrow." You see, hearing their words, Lin Ray frowned and then interrupted them. "Forget it, don't wait for him. It's the same to ask you guys about this matter. Yes, we will do our best." With that, the alchemists all quieted down and quietly stood in place, waiting for Lin Ray to try. And then tell me why the 3 Ghost Kings want to collect spirit stones. I'm very curious about this. You know about this? Everyone's faces were filled with shock at Linley's question, and their faces were filled with astonishment. Looking at their appearance, Lin Ray knew that there must be something important that he didn't know. Hurry up and tell me what's going on. Why do the Ghost Kings want to collect spirit stones? Moreover, isn't the ghost realm rich in magic crystals? Why do they need to use spirit stones? After saying this, Lin Ray saw that their faces were filled with hesitation, and their eyes were filled with hesitation. It could be seen that they were struggling with their own hearts. However, this was not important to Lin Ray. What was important was that they said what he wanted to know. Time passed bit by bit. After eating for more than 10 minutes, the impatient Lin Ray stood up and pretended to leave. "Since you want to die of old age here, then there's no need to say anything. I'll go ask someone else. I believe they'll be very willing to tell me." No. Seeing Lin Ray stand up, the elders immediately, they did not expect that Lin Ray would give up so easily. "Oh, then tell me. My time is very precious. I don't have time to waste here with you." As he spoke, Lin Ray sat down again. He raised his head and looked at them quietly, waiting for their answers. All right, since that's the case, go ahead. Finally, seeing that they had come to a decision, Linley was extremely happy. In the face of interest, all defenses would crumble on their own. Senior, the three Ghost Kings are collecting spirit stones mainly to open the reincarnation mirror. Senior, you should have heard about this clearly. The power of the mirror of reincarnation is something that even a saint would have to give into. Hearing the reincarnation mirror, Lin Ray raised his eyebrows. He was shocked, but he quickly calmed down. At this moment, the old man who was speaking did not stop. They have been here for too long, so they want to live up there. Although they have the strength of a quasi-saint, they're not saints. Moreover, their talent is there. If they want to reach the saint realm, the journey ahead is very long. Therefore, they want to go to the God realm. They don't want to stay in this place where even birds don't shit. Originally, the Deep Earth Empress had set a rule for the reincarnation mirror. Only powerful spiritual energy could open the reincarnation mirror. The three Ghost Kings cultivated ghost chi, so they had no choice but to collect enough spirit stones. Only in this way could they break the barrier and enter the God realm. Hearing this, Lin Ray became more and more shocked. He did not expect the three Ghost Kings to have such an intention. Lin Ray's expression turned cold. Although he did not have much feelings for the God realm, if the God realm was controlled by the Ghost Kings, where would his sect go? He would not allow this to happen. Of course, this matter was mainly incidental. After all, this was how he went to the sacred mountain. Well, good. In that case, let's do it this way. As he spoke, Linley rose to his feet. He stretched out his hand, and a jade slip appeared in his hand. Within this jade slip was the formation technique he had learned in the past. I believe this formation method will be of great help to you. Of course, if there's anything you don't understand, you can find me at the inn at any time. Oh, by the way, my name is Lin Ray. As he spoke, Linley prepared to leave. But when he thought about how the demonic phoenix was about to emerge, Linley immediately came to a halt at the door, then turned and spoke to the elders. I forgot to tell you that whose city is about to experience the most terrifying tribulation in its history. If something goes wrong, the entire city, no, not only the city, everything around it will disappear. It will cease to exist. What? This? Hearing Lin Ray's words, the elders frowned and were shocked. They knew about Lin Ray's strength, so they did not doubt his words at all. Well, that's the situation. Of course, if you want to live, come and find me. I will stay here for a period of time. I will leave when the disaster is over. Hearing these words, the elders' faces lit up with joy. They hurriedly followed behind Linley. Lin Ray did not say much about their actions. He smiled and said, "If you want to follow me, then follow me. However, I will not pay for your room." Lin Ray left the room and walked out. The elders of the Alchemist Union followed behind him with their heads lowered. They looked like obedient children. Wait. Just as Linley arrived at the main hall of the Alchemist Union and was about to leave, a weak girl's voice suddenly rang out. Linley immediately stopped in his tracks and turned around to look at the source of the voice. He saw that the person who had spoken was the little girl who had given him a few words of advice when he had entered the Alchemist Union. Lin Ray looked at her curiously and asked, "What's the matter? Little Moo, why are you here?" At this time, a voice came out from one of the old alchemists. After hearing this voice, Lin Fan was stunned. Looking at the little girl, Lin Ray finally understood why the little girl's alchemy skills were so bad. Previously, he thought that her master had a grudge against her. Now, it seemed that it was not the case. "Master," when the little girl heard the elder's words, she quickly ran to the elder's side and stopped talking. At this moment, looking at the doting elder who was stroking the little girl's hair, he said to Lin Ray apologetically, "I'm sorry, Senior. My little disciple is naughty. Please don't take offense. It's nothing." Hearing the elder's words, Lin Ray quickly shook his head and said, "When I came in, I saw her refining pills. So, I gave her some advice." "Oh, is that true?" When the elder heard Lin Ray's words, he lowered his head and asked the little girl beside him. "Yes, it's true." In response, the old man laughed, and he laughed very happily. The little girl didn't understand. She just looked at these people with a confused expression, not knowing what was going on. Chapter 574. All right, let's go. There's still a child waiting at home. As he spoke, Lindley no longer paid any attention to them. He walked alone towards the hotel he had rented. Everyone in Lake City knew about the people from the Alchemy Guild. At this moment, other than the president and vice president of the Alchemy Guild, all the alchemists were present on the streets. Furthermore, they were following behind a child who looked to be in his 20s. Damn, am I seeing things? Are these really the stingy people from the Alchemy Guild? They're actually, this is a 1,000-year anecdote. People who think too highly of themselves are actually willing to put down their pride and follow behind a young man. It seems like this person isn't simple. Yes, that's right. It seems like Lake City is going to change. This won't do. I have to hurry back and inform my family. And just like that, amidst everyone's fingers and criticisms, Lindley calmly walked on by himself, completely unafraid of everyone else. As for the disciples of the aristocratic families who saw this anecdote, they all rushed back to their families to inform them of what they saw. As for the ordinary people, they all felt wronged by Lin Ray. They all retreated and didn't dare to approach him. In comparison, Lin Ray could imagine how the people behind him were usually like. Finally, Lin Ray returned to the inn. He turned around and said to the alchemist from the Alchemy Guild, "Do as you see fit. I'll be leaving first. You can look for me anytime. Of course, I'll choose a time to teach you high-level cultivation techniques and my own high-level alchemy skills. Of course, it's only during this period of time. After I leave, you'll have to rely on yourselves." After saying that, Lin Ray nodded to everyone and walked into the room in the backyard. "Farewell, Senior. We understand." The moment Lin Ray stepped out of the door, he heard the voices behind him. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly, and he left with a smile. At this moment, there was basically no one in Lake City who didn't know about these people from the Alchemy Guild. When the waiter Little Dragon and Xiaomi saw them, they quickly stood at the side respectfully and waited for service. After Lin Ray left, they did not return to their previous arrogant demeanor. Instead, they spoke to the waiter, Little Dragon, in a warm tone, "Give us 6 rooms, the best." Hearing this, the waiter Little Dragon and Xiaomi did not dare to delay in the slightest. Immediately, they led the crowd to the back. At this moment, when he arrived at the residence at the back, he discovered that Hu Bing was nowhere to be seen. He was still standing where he had left, motionless. His face was still filled with shock and panic. Looking at Hu Bing, Lin Ray smiled helplessly. "Why are you still here? Didn't I tell you to leave?" At this moment, the moment he heard Lin Ray's voice, Hu Bing woke up from his emotional state. The moment he saw Lin Ray, Hu Bing smiled bitterly. "Senior, stuttering." Looking at Hu Bing's current state, Lin Ray didn't have the time or opportunity. Back at the Union, he had been afraid that Lin May would wake up. Now, he was even more anxious. All right. If you have anything to say it later. I still have things to do. I won't keep you any longer." Saying this, Lin Ray brushed past Hu Bing and headed straight for his room. Gotcha! Opening the door, he looked at the bed, but there was no one on it. Seeing this, Lin Ray immediately panicked and released his divine sense, instantly scanning the entire room. At this moment, in a corner to the left of the door, Lin May was huddled up in a corner with tears on her face. She looked exhausted as she looked at him with her divine sense. Lin Ray's heart sank, and he retracted his divine sense. He immediately rushed to where Lin May was hiding. "Father!" At this moment, Lin May, who was sitting on the ground and huddled up in a corner, saw Lin Ray again. She immediately rushed into his embrace and cried loudly. In comparison, Lin Ray felt very helpless. He did not know how to comfort his child. At this moment, Lin Ray regretted not bringing his wife with him. That way, things would be different. There was no other way. His appetite did not allow Lin May to continue crying. Lin Ray could only try his best to make his voice gentle. Then, he began to comfort her. "All right, May, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have left. Don't cry." Sob, sob, sob. Who knew that it would have been better if Lin Ray did not persuade her? But after he did, she immediately broke down. Her crying became even louder. In comparison, Lin Rei was even more helpless. At this moment, Hu Bing, who was still outside, heard the child's crying in the room. Suddenly, he had a headache. Sigh. Why are there children everywhere? It's enough for me at home. I didn't expect it to be the same here. It seems that Senior is no exception. With that, Hu Bing knew that Lin Rei did not have time at the moment. He immediately lifted his leg and left the restaurant. Time passed bit by bit. Lin Li didn't know how much time had passed, but when Lin Mei began to cry, he sealed off his own sense of hearing. Perhaps it was because she was too tired, so the crying Lin Mei fell asleep at some point. She's still a child. Looking at Lin Mei's appearance, Lin Rei was envious. After all, this was something he could not do now. Every day, in addition to cultivating, he faced all kinds of problems. For this kind of eating, sleeping, and eating, cry to express her unhappiness, there was no more. Looking at Lin Rei, who was already sleeping soundly, he tiptoed to the bedside and gently placed Lin Mei, who was in his arms, on the bed. Everything happened last night. Lin Rei's mind moved. In an instant, 15, who was in the system, appeared. I, Blood 15, pay my respects to the young master. Looking at 15, Lin Rei smiled. He was really grateful to this man who had been silently contributing behind his back. Because of him, Lin Rei could appear here so peacefully. Okay. In the future, when you see me, you don't have to carry any luggage. I know, young master's identity is honorable. Besides, this subordinate will not feel awkward. Before Lin Rei could finish, he heard Blood 15's rebuttal. Regarding this, Lin Rei was deeply helpless. Sigh, you can do whatever you want, Lin Rei said helplessly. Then he pointed to Lin Mei on the bed and said, this child has the body of the medicine god. She's a born genius in alchemy, but she's already my daughter. In the future, you can stay by her side. Of course, if you have time, you can teach her some of your battle techniques, spells, and cultivation methods. How can I do that? This subordinate. Knowing that Blood 15 would refute, Lin Rei didn't wait for Blood 15 to finish his sentence. All right, this matter is settled. If you teach her well, you'll be her master. Do you hear me? Upon hearing this, Blood 15's rebuttal was meaningless. In contrast, he could only nod in agreement. All right, then this subordinate will... Okay, in the future, you don't have to call yourself a subordinate in front of me. You can do whatever I want. After that, Lin Rei didn't give him a chance to refute. He left the room and went outside. At that moment, Blood 15 lowered his head and glanced at Lin Mei on the bed. Then, he sat on the bed and waited for her to wake up. Phew, I'd better cultivate. Cultivate the ghost art to the monarch god level as soon as possible. That way, it'll be more beneficial when fighting the 3 ghost kings in the future. With that, Lin Rei came to a tree. With a wave of his hand, a bench appeared. Then, Lin Rei set up a monarch-level defensive formation around it. Then, he sat down on the bench and began cultivating. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. During this month, Lin Rei didn't cultivate at all. She woke up. Lin Mei, on the other hand, had cried and begged for Lin Rei in the beginning. In the end, under Blood 15's guidance, she began cultivating his blood art. This cultivation method was created by the Nether River Patriarch and was of a very high level. It was already at the god level. As for cloning techniques like the flying guillotine, Blood 15 didn't plan to teach Lin Mei. After all, she had only just started cultivating and wasn't suited for such high-level things. As for the alchemists of the Alchemy Union, the 17-year-old girl had been instructed by her master. Every day, she waited outside the formation where Lin Rei was cultivating in seclusion. Every day, she would write a letter for a month. During this short period of time, the president and vice president of the Alchemy Union had also arrived and learned about Lin Rei's situation. Then, they shamelessly joined the team waiting for Lin Rei. In comparison, the other elders were very helpless. A month passed by very quickly. During this period of time, Lindley slowly began to train in the ghostly mantra, going from the very beginning to the 4th level. The ghost mantra had a total of 9 levels. It was not easy to cultivate to the 4th level. However, he did not know that if it was someone else cultivating it, they would be lucky if they could cultivate to the 2nd level in a month, let alone the 4th level. Phew. Lin Ray, who was in the formation, had already retreated from his cultivation and felt better. Other than the devil chi and spirit chi in his body, there was only the extremely pure ghost chi left. Feeling the majestic ghost chi, Lin Ray's face lit up. He stood up and stretched his body. With a wave of his hand, Lin Ray put away the bench. I didn't expect to cultivate for so long this time. TSK, if I go out, Mayor will cry. As Lin Ray spoke, he couldn't help but tremble when he imagined that scene. But there was no other way. Even if he thought of this, he still had to go out. Then, with a wave of his hand, Lin Ray put away the formation. When he put away the formation, Lin Ray was stunned by the first scene he saw. He saw that the little girl sitting on the ground, not far away from the formation, was looking at him with her bright and piercing eyes. In contrast, Lin Ray was stunned. He didn't expect this situation. Chapter 575. Say, Senior, you finally came out. At this moment, when the girl saw Lin Ray for the first time, her eyes lit up, and she immediately jumped up and quickly came to Lin Ray's side and bowed respectfully. Yes, you are. For the little girl's actions, Lin Ray really didn't understand and immediately asked, "Oh, it's like this. Senior, you have been in seclusion for a month. During this month, my master came to find you several times, but you are always in seclusion. Our union's president and vice president have also come and are now in the living room with you." Hearing this, Lin Ray understood everything. So they let a little girl come here to guard for them. In contrast, Lin Ray's good impression of those old things decreased a little. He did not help him like before, but after all, he had promised. "Well, let's go. Take me to see them. I also want to see what level your union's president is." Hearing this, the little girl's face lit up. She immediately turned around and led Lin Ray to the living room. Along the way, the little girl was submissive. She was not like the little girl he saw in the union before. As for Lin Ray, he didn't speak. After all, the two of them were too big. Soon, following the little girl to the living room. When Lin Ray's figure appeared in the living room, all the old people sitting in the living room had their eyes lit up. They immediately stood up and bowed to Lin Ray. All the alchemists of a union greet Senior. Looking at them, Lin Ray responded coldly and then came to the seat and sat down. "Senior, Junior Shu Yang is the union's president. This is Vice President Mu Ming." Lin Ray, who was sitting in the seat, heard the two people who he hadn't seen before introduce themselves. Lin Mei didn't even raise her eyes, but at this moment, her divine sense instantly came out and began to investigate them. As for Jiang Ning, he could sense an enormous divine sense probing his body, but he didn't move at all. He just allowed Linley to do as he pleased. Not long after, Linley retracted his divine sense. His expression was cold, and his tone was even colder. "Not bad. One is a god king, and one is a divine ancestor. Their alchemy skills are not bad. Both of them reached peak late-stage king stage at the same time." When he heard Lin Ray tell him all the information about them, he immediately sucked in a breath of cold air and nodded without hesitation. Yes. Senior is indeed formidable. You're able to see through our cultivation with a single glance. However, at this moment, the two of them looked hesitant. Lin Ray frowned and asked in a deep voice, But what about it?" When they heard Lin Ray's question, the two of them hurriedly voiced their doubts. "Senior, there are some things that we don't understand. How did you know our alchemy skills?" When the two of them asked this, the other alchemists looked over curiously, waiting for Lin Ray's answer. Hearing this, Linley began to answer without hesitation. "You all have the medicinal smell of a top-grade king-level pill, the Raging Flame Pill. Furthermore, you don't have such powerful spiritual fluctuations. More importantly, you don't have the medicinal fragrance of a pill of a higher grade than king level. When they heard Lin Ray's answer, everyone immediately understood the matter. All right, since you're here, let's start from the beginning. After saying that, Lin Ray took out 3 jade slips from his storage ring and placed them on the table. These 3 jade slips contain all the spirit herbs I've collected from Emperor-level alchemists. You can go and study them first. When you've mastered these spirit herbs, it won't be long before you can break through to the next realm. As for the formation method, it's also inside. You can practice it together. Hearing this, everyone's eyes were fixed on the 3 jade slips on the table. Everyone looked at them with burning eyes. Except for the vice president, who had a greedy look in his eyes. There was nothing else in the eyes of the others except burning eyes. In comparison, Linley was completely disappointed in Mu Ming. Still, Linley didn't try to stop Mu Ming from sharing his experience. Many thanks, Senior. We'll remember it. We'll definitely cultivate well and strive to become Emperor-level alchemists as soon as possible. Seeing the determination in Ka Men's eyes, Lin Ray's face finally showed a trace of a smile. All right, you can leave. I'll be in seclusion often in the future, so if you have any matters, you can look for my guard, Blood 15. He's in my room. Hearing this, everyone didn't dare to continue and immediately left. At this time, one of the old men and the little girl stayed behind and didn't leave. Seeing the old man's hesitant look, Lin Ray was anxious for him. Speak, what's the matter? You're already so old. Why are you still hesitating? Hearing Lin Ray's words, the old man's expression became awkward. He immediately said, Senior, it's like this. I'm afraid my little disciple won't have a future if she follows me. I think, hearing this, Linley knew what he was going to say next. He didn't wait for him to finish. Lin Ray hurriedly shook his head and politely refused. I'm really sorry, I don't have time. Moreover, I still have 6 or 7 disciples to take care of, so, hearing this, the old man swallowed the words he was about to say. In response, when the little girl beside him heard Linley's rejection, she immediately frowned. Her originally smiling face instantly turned cold. Then Senior. The old man didn't want to give up and hurriedly begged again. Senior, this junior doesn't have extravagant hopes that you'll accept my little disciple as your disciple, but it's really a waste for this child to follow me. If she could be a maid by your side, as long as you have time to give her a few pointers, you can. Seeing the old man's expression, Lin Ray felt awkward. The old man's words were something Lin Ray had never thought about, but he was right. This child's talent in alchemy was indeed very high. Moreover, she possessed the Yin flame, something that no one else could possess. However, he truly didn't have time. After all, this place was going to experience a disaster soon. He also had to increase his cultivation, or he would have to nurture everyone here. Of course, the most important reason was that he wanted to take Xie Feng as his mount. After thinking it over, Lin Ray's eyes lit up. He immediately thought of Blood 15, who was in his room. Lin Ray immediately smiled and said, How about this? Although this sovereign can't teach her anything, this sovereign's guard is a divine monarch and is extremely powerful. If you don't mind, I don't mind. As long as this child can learn something useful, I won't let her down. As the old man spoke, tears streamed down his face as he patted the little girl's back. He had her kneel and kowtow to Lin Ray in gratitude. Don't. Let's not talk about this in the future. Moreover, I'm not the one teaching my little disciple. As he spoke, Lin Ray stood up. That's enough. You can go. He's currently imparting a cultivation method to my little girl. You can go and tell him that I said so. Let this little girl cultivate with my little girl in the future. As he spoke, Lin Ray walked out the door. When the old man heard this, he immediately thanked him profusely. Thank you, Senior. Thank you, Senior. Hearing the words of thanks from behind him, Linley revealed a hint of a smile, and then left without looking back. Host, I have something to tell you. Just as Linley left the living room, the system's cold, synthetic voice rang out. Linley's body froze for a moment before returning to normal. He went back to the living room and found a place to sit down. Then, he set up an array. With a thought, he entered the system. When he arrived at the picturesque landscape of the system, Lin Ray ignored the scenery in front of him and asked anxiously, What's wrong? What's the matter? Did something happen to Xiaolong? As for the system, the first thing that Lin Rei thought of was the little dragon. He was very nervous. He was afraid that something had happened to the little dragon. No, two decisive, straightforward words. Instantly, Lin Li's worried heart was at ease. Phew! Thank goodness, thank goodness. Knowing that the system didn't call him because of the little dragon, Lin Rei instantly relaxed. Tell me, why are you looking for me? Although it wasn't because of the little dragon, it was a miracle that the system could take the initiative to speak. Xie Feng is about to be born. You have to cultivate quickly. If you want to conquer a creature that has survived since the beginning of time, then you have to be stronger than others. Otherwise, Xie Feng is about to be born? So soon? Lin Rei, who was already relaxed, was shocked when he heard the system's words. Previously, it said that Xie Feng was going to be born for a long time. Now it said that she was about to be born. Yes, because the seal's power is getting weaker and weaker, and Xie Feng's power is getting stronger and stronger. In the end, the enchantment won't be able to withstand it and will explode. Hearing this, Lin Rei became nervous. If Xie Feng was born, then everyone in the city would cease to exist. Not bad, you're right. Hearing the system say what he was thinking, suddenly, Lin Rei was dumbfounded. However, regarding the system's words, Lin Rei didn't interrupt. Instead, he listened carefully. If you are Xie Feng and have been suppressed for such a long time, what will the Almighty Seal do? Moreover, Xie Feng is going to be born in the 10,000 Li Sea of Fire. If Xie Feng is really born, then everyone here will be burned to ashes. In the end, not even ashes will be left. Hiss! When Xie Feng is angry, 10,000 Li Sea of Fire. Lin Rei was stunned by the system's description of Xie Feng. He was also shocked. 10,000 Li Sea of Fire. Even as a monarch god, he couldn't do that. At most, he could turn an area of 1,000 li into a sea of illusory spirit blood fire. Chapter 576. He didn't dare to imagine it. Lin Li didn't dare to imagine what it would be like when the demonic phoenix was born. When he thought of this, Lin Li couldn't help but shiver. I know. Don't worry. I will cultivate as hard as I can during this period of time. I will strive to break through to the level where I can suppress Xie Feng. I hope so. The system's reaction surprised Lin Li. He thought that the system would laugh at him, but he didn't expect that it would just let it go so easily. It was hard to imagine why the system's attitude towards him had changed so much. Yes, it's the same for me. When the time comes, I will be able to break through to the level I want to register. However, I will still need your help. Although the Divine Emperor can fight against her, it will still be a little difficult. After all, that is only the strength of the physical body, not the cultivation. Hearing this, the system fell silent and did not say anything. Lin Li thought that this was impossible. Although there was a hint of disappointment in his eyes, he had already expected this. Okay, I will help you. However, don't be in pain when the time comes. Of course, I will not be merciful to you like the little dragon. My training is very difficult. When the time comes, it will be too late to regret. Really? At this moment, Lin Rei was very surprised to see the old man in the air. His eyes were full of doubts. He had basically given up on the previous question. Who knew that the system would actually agree to his request? Why? Are you not willing? In response to Lin Rei's doubts, the system's cold and synthetic voice asked Lin Rei. No. Why would I not agree? I agree. You can train me however you want. As long as it can make me stronger, I will do it. Just like this, the two of them hit it off. Okay, you can go out and prepare. Your life will not be easy in the future. Of course, it is not too late to regret now. It will be too late when it really starts. Regarding this issue, Lin Rei's attitude was very firm. He would not regret this matter. He let himself be strong, not only for Xie Feng, who was imprisoned by the enchantment underground, but more importantly, for the reincarnation mirror, which was detained by the three ghost kings. And all of this effort was because of the dead Jin Ling and Jin In. For them, Lin Rei had to do this. No need. Since this is my decision, I will not change it. Don't worry, I will not back down from this matter. After saying that, Lin Ray didn't give the system a chance to speak. He left the system in a flash and returned to the barrier he had set up in reality. He opened his eyes and stood up with joy on his face. Then, he waved his hand and the formation disappeared. He sensed the ghostly aura outside. As the energy flowed into his body, Lin Ray felt indescribably comfortable. After looking around, Lin Ray walked towards his room. Along the way, he met many people. Everyone had a respectful expression on their faces. In contrast, Lin Ray did not say anything. At this time, Lin Ray came to the door of the room and felt the fluctuation of spiritual aura coming from the room. Lin Ray frowned because this spiritual aura was only at the foundation establishment stage. Feeling this, Lin Ray instantly released his divine sense and rushed into the room. He saw that it was his daughter, Lin Mei, who was sitting on the bed and cultivating. Feeling the aura on her body, a smile appeared on Lin Ray's face in an instant. Haha, it seems that it was the right choice to find her a master. With him here, I am really relieved. Speaking of this, Lin Ray transmitted his voice to Blood 15 in the room. 15, I am going to cultivate in seclusion for a while. I will leave the things here to you. Remember, if anyone makes trouble, just ignore them and kill them directly. Yes, I will do as you say. At this moment, 15, who was cultivating with his eyes closed in the room, heard Lin Ray's words and instantly opened his eyes. A bloody light rushed out in an instant. Then, he calmed down and responded to Lin Ray. Amen. Since that's the case, I'll leave this place to you. I'll be leaving first. After saying that, Lin Ray didn't say anything more to 15. Then, he left and walked towards the place where he had gone into seclusion. The setting sun was infinitely good, but it was only waiting for dusk to arrive at the secluded cultivation area. He casually used a formation, and in an instant, it enveloped him. At this moment, when he was about to go into seclusion, a period of time when he used to be with Jean Ling, the only memories he left behind instantly appeared in his mind. When he met Jean Ling, memories. Jia. The door was pushed open. A girl who was not particularly good-looking but could be considered strong and handsome walked in. She was very close in age and looked to be about 17 or 18 years old. The girl leisurely drove to Lin Ray's side. She placed the cup in her hand on a nearby tree stump and sat beside Lin Ray. Looking at the pale Lin Ray, the girl revealed a sorrowful expression and sighed. Sigh, when will you wake up? You've been in a coma for almost 3 months. Ever since you suddenly appeared in our village covered in blood, we thought you were a bad person. Later, no one cared where you lay for several days. Finally, when the village chief finally agreed to save you, he pulled you back. It's been 3 months, and you haven't shown any reaction at all. I really don't know if you can still wake up. It turned out that after Lin Ray was hit by the last halo of light emitted by his companions, he lost consciousness and was directly sent to an isolated island in the depths of the Sea of Innocence by the teleportation formation. And on this isolated island, at some unknown point in time, people had been stationed here. Later on, they had formed a village and had lived there ever since. But suddenly, one day, a blood-soaked Linley had suddenly descended from the skies. When the villagers saw this, they all thought that he was a bad person, and so they didn't lend a helping hand. But a few days later, the oldest elder of the village finally couldn't help but rescue Linley and bring him back. After carrying Lin Ray to his room, the old man ordered his only granddaughter to help Lin Ray bathe and treat him. She served him for almost 3 months. During these 3 months, the girl came back every day to help Lin Ray wash his body and feed him medicine. As the saying goes, even a dog would develop feelings after 3 months of raising it, let alone a person. During these 3 months, the girl took care of Lin Ray meticulously. In the end, she imperceptibly fell in love with Lin Ray, who she had been taking care of all this time. In the neighboring 17 years of age, it was the time for a girl to choose a partner. Moreover, the girl had to help Lin Ray bathe every day. Tonight, When she was feeding Lin Ray medicine and bathing him again, the girl came to Lin Ray's room as promised. When she saw that Lin Ray was still unconscious, the girl could not help but sigh with emotion. Then, she began to bathe Lin Ray. Sigh. Little brother, do you know? This is the first time I've had a man other than my grandfather. I don't know when, but I started to worry about you. Slowly, I started to care about when you could wake up and talk to me. As the girl spoke, she carried Lin Ray to the bathing area. Then, she began to slowly take off Lin Ray's clothes and put Lin Ray in the bathwater. In these 3 months, the girl had done this countless times, so now the girl had become immune to it. Looking at Lin Ray lying in the bathwater, the girl took a piece of something that looked like a scrubber and rubbed it on Lin Ray's body. Her movements were very gentle, as if she had already used all her strength to hurt Lin Ray. Looking at Lin Ray lying in the water, the girl could not help but be stunned. Little brother, can you wake up? I really want you to talk to me. Who's talking? At this moment, Lin Ray was running around aimlessly in the misty space. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in his ears. In an instant, Lin Ray was stunned. Gradually, Lin Ray uncontrollably returned to reality. He felt that his body was cold, and he also felt a hand groping his body. In an instant, Lin Ray opened his eyes abruptly. Glancing around, Linley saw that in this unfamiliar environment, there was a woman who didn't seem to be in a good mood, but who had a pair of watery eyes. She was carefully wiping his body. Linley was stunned. Little brother, I really want to... Just as the girl was speaking to Linley, she raised her head and saw that the person who had been unconscious for a long time was staring at her with his eyes wide open. Instantly, the girl stood up, her face red with embarrassment, and ran outside, calling out to the people outside. Grandpa, Grandpa, come and take a look. The person you saved is awake. Grandpa, come and take a look. You saved. Looking at the girl who ran out, Lin Ray was stunned. At this moment, Lin Ray's mind was very fuzzy. After waking up, the first question he asked was, who am I? Then a lot of questions popped up. Who am I? Where am I? What happened to me? Where's my family? A series of questions appeared in the boy's mind, but he couldn't find an answer. In the end, Lin Ray couldn't figure it out, so he gave up. Haha, little friend, how do you feel? Do you feel better? Just as Lin Ray was in a daze, a white-haired old man walked in from the door. When he saw that Lin Ray was really awake, some warm and considerate words blended into Lin Ray's heart. Old, Grandpa, I'm fine. It's just a little, what's wrong? Hearing Lin Ray's words, the old man quickly came forward and began to examine Lin Ray in all aspects. No, actually it's nothing. It's just that I don't seem to remember what happened before. Now, in my mind, there's nothing except for the girl beside you. I don't know if Grandpa knows where I'm from. Where's my home? Who is it? Ugh. This old man doesn't know either. When I saved you back then, you had nothing on you. Other than your body being covered in blood, you were also covered in wounds. However, when you were unconscious, those wounds healed on their own. Now, they're almost healed. It's just that you lost too much blood, so your body is a little weak. Oh, so that's the case. Originally, he thought that the old man who saved him might know his background. But now, it seemed that there was no hope. Thinking of this, Lin Ray's face showed a trace of disappointment. Well, since you don't remember who you are, why don't we just take things as they come? Since you don't have a name now, you don't have to follow mine. Anyway, you don't know who you are now, so I can't keep calling you little doll. Hee hee. Hearing the old man's explanation, Lin Ray nodded. After all, the old man was right. Since he didn't remember who he was, then it was better to live a good life here. Okay, then thank you, Grandpa. Hee, that's right. Since you agreed, then take this old man's surname. This old man's surname is Jean. Why don't you call yourself Jean Rouet? Rouet as in auspicious, okay? The old man's face was happy. Lin Ray didn't refuse and directly agreed. Okay, Grandpa, I will take your surname from now on. I will be called Jean Rouet. Hee hee. Why are you still calling me Grandpa? Since you already know my surname is Jean, why can't you call me Grandpa? After hearing the old man's words, Lin Ray helplessly shook his head and said with a smile, Hee hee, I can afford it, Grandpa. Hey, is that right? Ha ha ha. I also have a grandson. Let's see if this old man will still laugh at me in the future. When the old man finished speaking and saw Lin Rui, Jean Rui, again, he instantly became stupefied. At this time, Jean Rui had already fainted in the water. Ah, Brother Rui! What happened to Brother Rui? At this moment, the girl who was standing at the side hurriedly rushed over and helped Linley up, placing him on the bed. Grandpa, Grandpa, quickly take a look. What happened to Brother Rui? Why did he faint again? After helping Lin Rui to the bed, the girl hurriedly went to the old man's side and asked anxiously, "Oh, Linger, look at you. When I was sick, why didn't you care about me like this? How long has this kid been here? Since you took care of him so meticulously, tell me, are you—" "Ah, Grandpa, don't talk nonsense. I was just following your order to take care of him." After saying that, she walked out. When she ran to the door, the girl couldn't help but shout to the old man, "Grandpa, remember to take care of Brother Rui? It's late, I'm going to sleep." Her voice gradually disappeared. The old man looked at his granddaughter, who ran out with a worried face. He went to Jean Rui's side to check if there was anything wrong with him and left. Sigh. The moment the door closed, Jean Rui, who was originally unconscious, woke up. Sigh. What the hell happened? Why can't I remember who I am? Who am I? At this time, as long as Jean Rui slept, the boy would have these questions lingering in his mind. Sigh. Forget it. Maybe this is God's way of letting me relive it all over again. Maybe the memories from before weren't very good. After that, a feeling of exhaustion crept into his heart. He closed his eyes and fell asleep. This sleep was very sweet. It wasn't until noon the next day that Lin Rui woke up from his sleep. Lin Rui, who was lying on the bed, slowly opened his eyes. The old man was familiar with everything. Lin Rui knew that he was still in the old man's house. Sigh. With a sigh, Lin Rui prepared to get up. However, the girl from yesterday swaggered in, and Lin Rui realized that he wasn't wearing any clothes. You go out first. I'm not wearing any clothes," Jean Rui said to the girl embarrassedly. His face couldn't help but turn red. Thinking of this, Lin Rui was pulled back to reality from his memories. At this moment, Lin Rui's gaze was even more determined. He was even more determined to work hard to cultivate and save his wife and child. Then, he didn't think too much about it. With a thought, he instantly entered the system and began his devil training. Chapter 577. How Tian, just you wait. How many years has it been? I can't even remember. You've trapped me here, and let me be baptized by the ghost Chi day and night. You wanted to wipe away my spirit, to think that I would have a descendant. At this moment, 10,000 meters under her city, there was a huge space that was filled with flames. In the middle of the flames, a huge phoenix lay in the middle of the flames. Beside the phoenix was a huge egg that was more than 10 meters in size. Looking at the egg before her, the phoenix's face was filled with gentleness. But when she spoke of Hao Tian, she was filled with killing intent, as though she was happy to have him killed by mistake. My dear son, your mother is about to pass away. After being here for so long, you're the one I've been most worried about. If not for you back then, even if Qinglian were here, she wouldn't have been able to take advantage of me. With that, the phoenix's gigantic wings caressed the egg gently. Her movements were gentle, and she couldn't use too much strength. Wong wong. As though it could sense the words of the phoenix, the egg resonated with her. Sensing this, a single drop of blood flowed out of the phoenix's eyes. My dear son, don't worry. Your mother has been here for such a long time. But you're different. You have a bright future waiting for you to squander away. You can't just stay here forever. I can sense that there's someone extremely strong above this place. And your mother can sense that there's a thick amount of chaos chi within his body. With that, the phoenix raised her head and looked up at the ceiling. Her voice was filled with excitement as she spoke to the egg. For someone to be able to absorb chaos chi at this time, he's definitely not someone to be trifled with. Even though your mother doesn't wish for you to be used by others, but someone like this will definitely be someone extraordinary in the future. Therefore, even if I have to risk my life, your mother will send you out. Just you wait. Your mother won't let you stay here forever." With that, the phoenix seemed to have come to life as she stood up. Her gigantic body brought along the flames around her. Instantly, balls of flames formed into a gigantic force that shot towards the surrounding walls. Bam! 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 Suddenly, a series of loud noises rang out. The moment the balls of flames collided with the surrounding walls, they exploded. By the time the flames disappeared, there were no signs of damage on the walls at all. And not even a trace was left behind. If Ruo Lin was here, he would definitely be very surprised. Just based on the bombardment that was casually created by the phoenix, he would not be able to withstand it. He would even be directly burned to ashes by this bombardment until there was not even a trace of him left. Humph, do you really think that this seal can seal me for long? Ah, Hao Ian, although you have already reached the saint level, you are still far from it. If it wasn't for that old bastard Hong Jun who helped you back then, do you think you could seal me so easily? After saying that, the evil phoenix's face was filled with murderous intent. Immediately after, a monstrous flame flapped its wings and a crescent-shaped attack shot out. It was as fast as lightning and as fast as thunder. In a flash, it struck the stone wall. With a loud bang, a mysterious rune appeared. The word seal appeared, and a mysterious light flowed on it. It was continuously dispelling the attack that the evil phoenix had just casually waved. Hee seal? How long can you seal me for? Hong Jun has already given himself over to Tendo. He can't even control himself now. Why would he care about this? Even if I have to sacrifice my entire soul, I will break through this seal of yours. With that, crescent-shaped attacks shot out and landed on the stone wall densely. Rumble. Rumble, at this moment, in whose city everyone was living a normal life. However, at this moment, the entire city began to shake violently. Each time it shook, the pattern of the shaking was different. Due to the intensity of the shaking, a few gigantic trenches appeared on the ground. Those who were unfortunate enough to build houses or people on the trenches were all trapped in the trenches at this moment. In contrast, when everyone saw this scene, they couldn't help but feel a wave of fear. Originally, they thought that this kind of shaking would stop after a period of time, but who would have thought that for 5 consecutive days, the shaking continued without stopping day and night. In comparison, some people had already gone out to seek refuge. Finally, after 5 days, the shaking stopped. Those who had fled to seek refuge were notified that Lake City was fine, so they returned. But who would have thought that less than 3 days after the peaceful atmosphere, the shaking would appear again? Rumble, Kacha! Kacha! Terrifying sounds rang out, and everyone was terrified. At that moment, in the Hu clan, Hu Bing felt the shaking of Lake City and the chasm that had appeared between it and the ground. Instantly, a look of shock appeared on his face. Instantly, Lin Li's words to him surfaced in his mind. No, could it be that something happened to Xie Feng's power? If that's the case, then, thinking of this, Hu Bing didn't wait. He released his cultivation and instantly rushed to the inn where Lin Rui was. The inn wasn't very far from the Hu family. Soon, he arrived at Yulai Inn. Excuse me, where is the residence of the senior? At this moment, when Xiaomi, who was busy, saw that it was Hu Bing, she didn't dare to delay and said, Master Hu, the senior is. Hearing Xiaomi's explanation, Hu Bing smiled at her. Then, he used his cultivation and instantly appeared at Lin Rui's residence. Plop! Hu Bing arrived at Lin Rui's house. He felt that other places were shaking, but his father was completely fine. In comparison, Hu Bing saw hope. He immediately knelt on the ground and begged the room. Senior, please save Hu City. This is the place where we were born and where we were born. This place can't be destroyed. Senior, please save Hu City. At this moment, Blood 15, who was cultivating in the room, frowned when he heard that someone was disturbing his peace. He looked at the door with a murderous look. As for Hu Bing, when he saw that no one in the room responded, he shouted again, Senior, I beg you. Although I usually do a lot of evil, as a member of Hu City, I definitely can't watch your city be destroyed like this. I beg you, I beg you. I, disturbing someone's cultivation. Do you know that this is a taboo? Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you? At this moment, Blood 15, who was in the room, couldn't stand the person outside anymore. He snorted coldly, stood up, and shouted angrily at the person outside. You are? Hearing the voice, Hu Bing, who felt that something was wrong, looked up. When he saw that the person standing at the door wasn't the senior from before, he was stunned. You don't need to know. You only need to know that you're in trouble again. How dare you disturb me when I'm cultivating? Tell me, how do you want to die? Hearing this, Hu Bing's body trembled. Just a moment ago, he felt the killing intent from the mysterious person in front of him. Hu Bing immediately knew that the person in front of him was no ordinary person. Senior, what happened just now was purely unintentional. The situation was urgent, and this junior couldn't wait any longer. Hearing this, Blood 15 looked up and released his divine sense. When he sensed the situation in Hu's city, his brows furrowed. How can this be? There's such a large area of destruction, but I can't sense the aura of the person who did it. Why? Although he didn't know why, Blood 15 frowned. It seems that I can help. After all, the young master is still in seclusion. As for where he's in seclusion, I don't know. It wouldn't be good if the shaking in the city disturbed the young master. With that thought, Blood 15 glanced at Hu Bing. With a wave of his hand, he set up a powerful restriction on the room. Although he couldn't be sure that the restriction would last forever, at the very least, it wouldn't break for a while. Hurry up and leave. With that, Blood 15's body disappeared. When he reappeared, he was in the air above the center of Hu's city. Blood 15 stood in the air and looked down at the shaking Hu city. At this moment, there were many large cracks in the city, and it looked very dilapidated. Sigh. Seeing this, Blood 15 sighed and stretched out his hand. He instantly used his peak late-stage Divine Lord strength, and a large amount of spirit energy enveloped the entire Hu city. He began to use his own spirit energy to maintain the city. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Inside, Blood 15 found that his spirit energy couldn't withstand the shaking at all. He looked into the distance and saw the restriction he had set up with his spirit energy slowly shatter. His brows furrowed. How can this be? What kind of power is this for it to have such great power? At this moment, when he felt that there was nothing he could do, Blood 15 began to pray that Lin Ray would quickly wake up from his seclusion. Once again, Blood 15 tried to use his spirit energy to stabilize Hu city. Although he could only hold it for a while, at least he wouldn't have to worry about it for a while. What he didn't know was that in the depths of the underground, Xie Feng had gone crazy for a child. Crazy bombardment had become a habit. A puny little Divine Lord realm brat actually wants to protect the city that was established above. That's simply a fool's dream. At this moment, Xie Feng's spirit energy could see what Blood 15 was doing in the air. She immediately felt disdain for his actions. Puffed. At this moment, Blood 15, who was in the air, came out of his mouth and his face turned pale. I'm here. Don't you dare harm this city, at least not now. With that, Blood 15 gave up on using his spirit energy. Then, he put his palms together and mysterious red runes appeared instantly. Slowly, the ghostly aura in the air began to distort. Not only that, the ghostly aura within 1,000 miles began to gather toward Blood 15. Suddenly, 15 yelled, and the seal in his hand suddenly changed. Blood God. The moment he said that, Blood 15 spat out from his mouth. At this moment, a strange scene appeared. The blood that Blood 15 recognized floated in the air. At this moment, the blood floating in the air began to turn into droplets of blood and dispersed instantly. What? How is this possible? At this moment, Xie Feng's spirit energy informed her of the spell that Blood 15 used. Her eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. Bloodstyx's spell. This person? Who is this person? Why does he have Bloodstyx's spell? Thinking of this, Xie Feng was puzzled. At this moment, Xie Feng's bombardment began to slow down. No, that's not right. Although it's Bloodstyx's spell, his cultivation level is far from that bastard's. Speaking of this, Siefeng used her spirit energy and sent a message to Blood 15's ears. Instantly, Siefeng's voice exploded. Who are you? Why do you use that bastard spell? Blood God, how do you know how to use it? Hearing this voice, Blood 15's spirit energy instantly tensed up and began to scan the surroundings to find the person who spoke. However, it was a pity that he couldn't find him. Haha, you don't have to look for me. You just have to tell me how you know Blood Styx' spell. If you tell me, I'll let you go today. Otherwise, even if Blood Styx comes, I'll try my best to kill you. Hearing this, Blood 15's face turned serious. Blood Styx is the ancestor and I'm from the Azura clan. Blood God was taught to us by the ancestor. However, because our cultivation was sealed by a mysterious power for some reason, we're only at the monarch god level now. With the return of our power, our memories are also slowly coming back. Siefeng's expression eased a little when she heard this. However, she was very curious about Blood 15's power being sealed. However, when she saw Blood 15's blank face, she didn't ask anymore. All right, if that's the case, then retreat. We can't keep this city any longer. It will soon turn into a pile of rubble. Moreover, don't you Azura people view human lives as worthless? What's wrong? Have you changed your attitude today? Although Blood 15 didn't know who the person who spoke was, he knew that this person was still from the same era as him. However, Blood 15 still refused her request. After all, his master, Lin Ray, was still cultivating in seclusion here. I'm sorry, Senior. I can't comply with your request. My young master is cultivating in seclusion here, and I have to protect his safety. How about this? After my young master comes out, you could destroy this place. At that time, I won't stop you. Oh, your young master? Hearing this, Siefeng's interest was piqued. Even so, she didn't attack. Who is your young master? To be able to make the bloodthirsty Azura clan of the Eldritch era recognize him as their master, I really want to meet him. Hearing this, Blood 15's expression didn't change. He said with his usual cold face, since Senior says so, why don't we wait for a day? Chapter 578. Who do you think you are? Even if that bast asterisk R.D. Mingy is here, he wouldn't dare to make me wait. Do you think that's possible? After saying that, the evil phoenix in the depths of the ground began to attack the barrier around them again. Rumble. Rumble, accompanied by a series of earthquakes, the houses in Lake City began to collapse on a large scale. God, how can you be so cruel? My baby died so tragically. In an instant, the entire Lake City was filled with wails of agony and resentment. Gazing at the people in the Lake City, 15's eyes were still as cold as ever. However, there was a trace of worry in her eyes. Young master, hurry up and come over. This place is about to collapse. In the western region of the Divine World, in a restaurant named Sky Stir Fry in Lotus Sky City, Lin Ray's clone, Sakura, was seated at a table by the window. At this moment, his face was no longer revealed. Instead, it was a face that was identical to Lin Ray's. He wore a gentle smile and looked completely different from the mask he wore when he was an assassin. Moreover, the current Sakura was dressed in scholarly attire and looked extremely refined. At the two tables beside him, 7 people in black clothes were eating and drinking with ice-cold expressions. Of course, it was obvious that they were the 7 Azuras that Lin Ray had sent to protect Sakura. Sai, where exactly are you? I've been searching for you for so many years, and there's no news of you at all. I didn't even hear your name. What exactly are you doing? Sakura looked at the sky outside the window worriedly. He was worried that Lin Ray's purple blood would be exposed. He was afraid that everything would happen. Similarly, he was worried that the people from Heaven and Earth Sect would come looking for him. He had also learned a lot during this period of time. Heaven and Earth Sect had been passed down from the upper world. It was imaginable how powerful they were. Putting everything else aside, just the God transformation alone was already uncountable. As for the God Emperor transformation, after such a long period of accumulation, there was no need to even think about it. Sai, sir, These are the dishes and wine you ordered. I've served everything. Please enjoy. I'll take my leave first." Just as Sakura was worried, the waiter's voice pulled him back to reality. Okay. Go ahead." Sakura looked at the waiter and the table full of dishes and wine in front of him and smiled. Then, he waved his hand and dismissed the waiter. Gulp, gulp. The moment the waiter left, Sakura grabbed the wine jug and poured the wine into his mouth. Instantly, a spicy feeling. Is asterisk SS, is asterisk sing asterisk SS few good wine. Is asterisk asterisk, Sakura asterisk, is asterisk, Sakura asterisk asterisk, Sakura asterisk, Sakura asterisk asterisk, Sakura asterisk asterisk, Sakura, Sakura, Sakura asterisk asterisk asterisk, Sakura asterisk asterisk, Sakura Sakura, Sakura Sakura Sakura, Sakura Sakura Sakura, Sakura be Sakura. Ha, that's really strange. After living in the divine realm for so many years, I've never seen a sect with such a pattern. Not only that, the moment they entered, Sakura Tianchao felt that they were extraordinary, not only because of their temperament, but also because they were all wearing divine weapons. Of course, 3 of the women were wearing divine weapons. As for the man who followed them, he was like a servant, not daring to make a sound. Since when did the divine sect have so many divine emperors? How strange that we can run into them in such a small city. As a divine lord, he could sense the auras of these 4 people the moment they entered. Of course, that man's cultivation was a bit stronger. He was at the middle stage of the divine lord realm. Miss, why don't we leave? If we suddenly leave, the continent lord will know. He'll definitely be unhappy. At this moment, seeing that all the places in the restaurant were filled with people, the man standing behind the 3 women pleaded with a troubled expression. I'm not going back. So what if he's unhappy? No matter what happens today, I'm not going back. After being born for so long, this is the first time I've been here to play. You have to think about it. You can leave by yourself. As he spoke, the woman who spoke. Similarly, Indra could see that this woman had the best status among them. She looked around, and at this moment, she saw Sakura, who was sitting by the window and eating alone at a big table. Instantly, the woman's face lit up, and without waiting for the waiter to come forward, she went to the front of Sakura on her own. Sensing that someone was coming, Sakura Tianchao raised his head and looked at that person without saying a word. He wanted to see what kind of trick they were playing. "Young master, we are new here. Would it be possible for us to share a table with you?" However, the moment the woman said that, the Shura man who was eating at the side stood up immediately and looked at the 4 people with vigilance. Feeling the powerful energy locking onto him, the man frowned. How is this possible? These people are not inferior to me at all. Moreover, there are people who are stronger than me. Who is this young man? Not only the man sensed it, even Sakura Tianchao didn't expect it. Immediately, he told the Shura man to sit down again. After doing all this, Sakura Tianchao raised his head and looked at the woman. Perhaps curiosity won over reason. Sakura Tianchao nodded and said, You all sit down." Hearing this sentence, the 4 people sat down without saying anything. The woman who had the most right to speak picked up the chopsticks on the table and began to eat. Wow, this is so delicious. While eating, she couldn't help but praise it again and again. In contrast, the curiosity in Sakura Tianchao's eyes was even stronger. "Nyo, you eat too. This thing is especially delicious. It's much more delicious than the things in our place. If I knew it would be like this, I would have come out 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years." Listening to the woman's words, Sakura Tianchao couldn't help but swallow his saliva, and sweat broke out on his forehead. Thinking about himself, since he was created by the deity until now, it was at most 400 or 500 years. Got it. The other woman also moved her chopsticks. She picked up a piece of meat and put it in her mouth. After chewing twice, her closed eyes suddenly startled and her eyes sparkled. "Wow, it's really delicious. Tuan, try it. This thing is really like what Mu Ling said. It's so delicious." Looking at their appearance, Sakura Tianchao really began to suspect whether they were barbarians or not. The food on the table in front of him was abundant in every city. Looking at them eating, Sakura Tianchao suddenly felt that the scene was very warm. The feeling of loneliness from before was gone. Then he chuckled and began to eat. Although his ears suffered a bit during the process, his heart began to silently accept such an environment. He accepted the noise of the three women. However, that man was staring at the Shura people on the other two tables. Regarding this, Sakura Tianchao was also very helpless. Oh, by the way, this lady, the clothes you're wearing are very unique and exquisite. But my eyes are clumsy. I really can't tell which sect you're from. Finally, the curious thing in his heart was spoken out at this moment. Suddenly, his heart felt much better. Hearing Sakura Tianchao's words, the man of the three women stopped eating and then looked at Sakura Tianchao with vigilance. Looking at their appearance, Sakura Tianchao's expression became awkward. He didn't expect such an ending. In order to not let them misunderstand, Sakura Tianchao hurriedly explained, "Don't misunderstand, I'm just very curious. Not to mention that I've seen the clothes of all the major sects in the God Realm, but this is the first time I've seen your clothes. Moreover, this kind of clothes doesn't exist in the God Realm." Although Sakura Tianchao explained, the four people did not let down their vigilance. Seeing that they didn't intend to answer, Sakura Tianchao hurriedly suppressed the curiosity in his heart. Okay. Since you don't want to say, then forget it. Anyway, I'm just saying it on a whim. With that, Sakura Tianchao stood up and prepared to leave. But at this moment, just as Sakura Tianchao stood up, a piece of news that surprised him came from the other table. "Hey bro, have you heard? I heard that the most mysterious great Zhou of the Ninth Continent has appeared." "What? The Ninth Continent has appeared? How is that possible? Hasn't that Dazhou always stayed out of it?" "Sigh, I don't know about that. I only know that not long ago, the most mysterious barrier of the Ninth Continent suddenly loosened. It was originally a simple accident, but who knew that not long after, the barrier suddenly broke and the Ninth Continent appeared in front of the public." Hearing this news, Sakura Tianchao, who had stood up, sat down again and focused his attention on what they were saying. "The Ninth Continent has appeared. With such a big matter, I believe that with the host personality, he should go back, right?" At this moment, what Sakura Tianchao wanted to say was nothing else. It was not the treasures of the Ninth Continent, nor was it the mystery of the Ninth Continent. Instead, it was the appearance of the Ninth Continent that could attract Lin Rei's attention and allow him to find him. Thinking of this, it was extremely possible. Then, Sakura Tianchao instructed the Azura clan member beside him, go to the Ninth Continent and guard it. Find that person. Then, use the talisman to inform me." "Yes, your subordinate will do it now." The Azura clan member who received the order nodded and instantly disappeared from the restaurant. Sensing the aura of the Azura clan member, the man who came with the three women suddenly let out a breath of cold air. His eyes were filled with shock. This kind of strength, I'm afraid even a mid-stage God Emperor doesn't have it. He's only a mid-stage Divine Lord, yet he already has such a powerful strength. If it was me, Sakura Tianchao did not know what the man was thinking. Of course, even if he knew, he would not care about him. At this moment, when the three women heard that the Ninth Continent's barrier had been broken and that it had appeared in the world, their expressions became nervous. "What should we do, Mu Ling? Could this be the result of us using our clan's treasure and then completing it?" It's fine. If the barrier is broken, then it's broken. What's so good about hiding in the Ninth Continent? Look, there's food and play here. It's much better than the Ninth Continent. Anyway, I won't go back. I want to stay here, eat good food, and have fun. Hearing Mu Ling's words, the two women immediately rolled their eyes at him. Then, they looked at him with a look of admiration. Sakura Tianchao could only see the flirting between the three of them, but he did not care because of the comparison. After all, he did not know them. They were just making do at the table. "Scram, can't you see that my young master is going over? Do you want it or not? Do you want to die?" At this moment, just as everyone at the table was making their own wishful thinking, A discordant voice came from outside the window. After hearing this, Sakura Tianqiao frowned. Wow, he knew that someone was disturbing his meal. He then turned his head to look out the window and saw more than 10 people driving the crowd on the street to both sides of the road. Looking at this scene, the taxi driver was very interested. He wanted to know what kind of people they were. They would actually bully others like this. For you, aren't you just a second-generation hedonistic son? Besides, this is a path for everyone to walk, not just you. Don't you think you're going too far? Just as Sakura Tianqiao thought that everyone was silent, a person suddenly jumped out and spoke to them in a deep voice. Oh, is that so? I am a disciple of the Ninth Continent's Danzong Sect. This is the son of my Danzong Sect's ninth elder. Suru, do you think you have the qualifications to be compared to my young master? Ninth Continent. Hearing the words of the person outside, Sakura Tianqiao's interest was piqued. He had just heard that the Ninth Continent's barrier had been broken, and not long after he finished listening, the son of the ninth elder of the Danzong Sect walked out. This plot was too melodramatic. What, the Ninth Continent? When the man who had just jumped out to criticize heard the name of the Ninth Continent, his legs went soft and he retreated backwards. His eyes were filled with fear. It was obvious that he was afraid. In everyone's hearts, the Ninth Continent was an extremely mysterious and terrifying place. According to the Forbidden Area, the Ninth Continent was undoubtedly the largest and most terrifying place in the God Realm. No one was willing to enter this place. So when they heard the name of the Ninth Continent, the cultivators of the God Realm felt a sense of fear in their hearts. Ha ha! When the person called Suru saw the man like this, he immediately burst into laughter. His eyes were filled with disdain as he swept his gaze across his surroundings in disgust. How could it be him? At this moment, when Mu Ling, who was sitting with Sakura Tianqiao, saw Suru, his pupils were startled and his expression was somewhat stunned. At this moment, he truly realized that what he had heard just now was true and not a joke. At this moment, none of them noticed that Sakura Tianqiao's face had gradually darkened. The refined aura from before had completely disappeared. Chapter 579. The Ninth Continent. Looking at those arrogant, despotic, and pretentious people outside, Indra's face was already extremely cold. Coupled with his own elegant clothes, it was very mismatched at this moment. At this moment, Mu Ling and the others sitting opposite him naturally noticed that something was wrong with Indra. After feeling the cold killing intent from Indra, they were shocked by this scene. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air and hesitated. Previously, they had always thought that he was just a hedonistic son because he had so many subordinates by his side. But now, it seemed that they were wrong. At this moment, he ignored Mu Ling and the others sitting opposite him. When he heard that the people outside were people from the Ninth Continent, he was already tempted. He originally came out to gain experience, and he had always heard about how powerful the Ninth Continent was. Now that he really met people from the Ninth Continent, how could Indra not be happy? Then his body flashed, and in an instant, he disappeared from the restaurant. The moment Mu Ling and the others discovered Indra's figure, they were already on the road outside. With a jade flute in his hand and his elegant clothes, he was just like a scholar. If it wasn't for the killing intent on his body, no one would think that he was a cultivator. Who are you? Can't you see that my young master Suru is going over? Are you courting death by blocking here? Since his master didn't bring him along, the lackey began to bare his fangs and brandish his claws. Indra completely ignored the other party's words. As if he didn't see anything, he raised his foot and walked step by step towards the person called Suru. Step by step, when the lackey saw that Indra ignored him, he immediately felt humiliated. He felt that he had lost face. Then, his palm turned into a fist, and with a thunderous appearance, he instantly rushed towards Indra. In the air, there were countless fist shadows. They didn't seem to be carefully calculated, but they were all extremely powerful. However, at this moment, Indra was curious as if he didn't see anything. There was simply no place to go. You're just an ant. How dare you show off in front of this sovereign? Do you think this sovereign can't kill you? With a cold snort, the countless fish shadows were instantly destroyed by the aura of Indra's cold snort and disappeared in the air. What? Feeling that his fist intent was destroyed, the man's face was stunned. A bad premonition surged in his heart, and he immediately turned around and retreated. Hee, you dare touch me? Wouldn't it be too easy for you to leave just like that? At this moment, Sakura, who seemed to have long known that the man was going to escape, casually, he instantly punched out, aiming at the man's dantian, and rushed up. Bam! Gotcha! A cracking sound was heard, followed by a shrill scream. It instantly pierced through the man's mouth. His eyes were bloodshot, and he looked incredibly terrifying. His face was pale, and with his bloodshot eyes, he looked like a bloody corpse from hell. It was a terrifying sight to behold. Without the support of the spiritual power in his dantian, the man's body instantly went limp and knelt in front of Sakura. The man who didn't give up felt the spiritual power in his dantian, but no matter how he felt it, at this moment, his dantian had been completely returned. Even if he was the best alchemist in the Danzong sect, it would be impossible for him to restore it. Puff! Feeling better about his situation, the man's fighting spirit rushed to his heart, and then he spat out a mouthful of blood. He raised his trembling left hand, pointed at Sakura, and said in a cold tone, You actually gave my dantian to me. I won't let you go. Just you wait, I will never let you go. Looking at the man's appearance, Sakura didn't bother with him. After all, he was a cripple, and there was no need to make a move. However, after all, it was the Danzong sect. Everyone who came here was very strong. Everyone's strength was in the monarch god realm. Even a man whose dantian was destroyed by his punch was an early monarch god realm cultivator. The Danzong sect, as the name implied, was a cultivation sect that focused on alchemy. The strength of the sect couldn't be underestimated. After all, it was a sect that refined pills. The disciples' cultivation relied on pills to improve. Therefore, just now, although the man's strength was in the early monarch god realm, his strength was very erratic and not real at all. That was why he was destroyed by Sakura's punch. However, this scene, everyone was shocked. No matter if it was Su Ru or Mu Ling who was sitting at the dining table, they never would have thought that such a refined person would be so unyielding and so vicious. They couldn't help but rejoice in their hearts. They were glad that they weren't so domineering before. Otherwise, they would have been the ones to fall. What? Is this the strength of the ninth continent? The Danzong sect, is only SOSO. Not far from Su Ru, Sakura looked at the cultivators from the ninth continent and couldn't help but mock them. You. At this moment, Su Ru, hearing someone humiliate the Danzong sect like this, she couldn't stand it. She couldn't take it anymore. She was someone who had been pampered since she was young. She had been pampered since she was young. She had never been humiliated like this before. However, when she heard Sakura's words, the little volcano in her heart was instantly ignited. Aunt, how dare you go against my Danzong sect? Do you know how powerful my Danzong sect is in the ninth continent? Aren't you afraid that my Danzong sect will hunt you down? When these words were spoken, everyone was stunned on the spot. They originally thought that this person called Su Ru would make a move, but now he was only verbally satisfied. In comparison, everyone couldn't help but look at him with contempt. Sigh. Looking at Su Yang's appearance, Sakura shook his head in disappointment. He had originally come here to train. He had thought that if he met someone from the ninth continent, he would be able to fight to his heart's content. But now he had a new evaluation of the ninth continent. Weak, incompetent, cowardly trash. Of course, he knew that these were only some people from the ninth continent and did not represent everyone. However, when he looked at these few, he was already disappointed. He turned around and prepared to return to the hotel. However, at this moment, a bone-chilling sword intent instantly appeared behind him, bringing with it a huge killing intent. Feeling this, Sakura's face lit up. The first feeling that this feeling gave him was that the dormant battle blood in his body was awakening. At this moment, it was boiling as if it wanted to rush out of his body to fight for a while. At this moment, the sword and the flute in Sakura's hand, the moment it felt the huge sword intent, it instantly came out of its body. The place with spirituality blocked the troublesome and cold sword intent. Punk. The sound of weapons colliding resounded throughout the entire street. Everyone looked over and saw a long sword with a jade flute fighting against a person in the air. Hiss! The appearance of this scene made everyone unable to help but suck in a breath of cold air. Even their expressions were the same. They were all shocked. They had never seen this kind of artifact that could fight on its own. However, now that they saw it, how could they not be shocked? Hee, this person is getting more and more magical. He must have a lot of secrets on him. At this moment, Sakura did not know. Some of his actions deeply attracted Mu Ling, who was in the hotel. The curiosity of being cautious also became more and more intense. Humph! Aunt, you dare to sneak attack me. Do you really think this lord is easy to kill? At this moment, Sakura, who had turned around, looked at his magic tool in the sky and the man in black who had suddenly appeared fighting. Immediately, his brows were tightly knitted and his face was gloomy like ice, making people couldn't help but want to shiver. Ha ha! Little doll, you're talking big. However, I don't know how strong you are. I'm not like that waist just now. Come on, let me see what kind of strength you have. At this moment, the black-robed man in the sky looked at Sakura's appearance and said with a gloomy face. Looking at the skinny old man with a yellow face and big yellow teeth, Sakura did not pay attention to him. He casually waved his hand toward the sword and the flute in the air. In an instant, the sword and the flute broke away from the battle and returned to the scabbard. Looking at the black-robed old man, Sakura looked at him with a mysterious smile. There was a look of pity in his eyes. You want to fight with me? You're not qualified. Speaking of this, the black-robed man in the sky's face sank. Then, he wanted to make a move to catch Sakura off guard. But at this moment, just as the black-clothed man was about to attack, another black-clothed man with blood-red hair silently arrived behind the black-clothed old man and spoke to him with a deep voice. He was also a black-clothed man, but he gave off a tremendous amount of killing intent. He was a middle-aged man with blood-red hair. Humph! Aunt, you dare to move my young master. Do you really think this lord is useless? A small late-stage monarch god cultivator died for me. Hearing this, the black-robed man's face was blank and his face was like dead ashes. When the middle-aged man spoke, the black-robed old man knew that he would not be able to survive today, because at that moment, his body could no longer move. Kacha! The middle-aged man succeeded and grabbed the black-robed old man's neck. With a light force, the black-robed old man's neck was already limp to the side. Haha, wanna run? Do you think you can run in front of this lord? Just as the black-robed old man died, a palm-sized old man instantly rushed out from his abdomen and flew into the sky, wanting to escape. However, at this moment, the middle-aged man instantly moved. He raised his hand, and a mysterious force wrapped around the palm-sized old man who wanted to escape. TSK, not bad. Your strength is quite pure and suitable for me to absorb. As soon as he said that, although his voice was very soft, the surrounding people were all experts. No matter how soft his voice was, they could still hear him. Just where did this person come from? He can actually devour divine souls. At this moment, everyone began to guess about Sakura and the black-robed man, guessing where they came from. They guessed where their sect was, and so on. Uncle Feng, after seeing the black-robed old man die, the young man called Su Ru was stunned for a moment. Then, he sobered up and roared towards the sky with a sorrowful face. His eyes were bloodshot, and his face was ferocious and terrifying. In response to that person's roar, Sakura ignored him and waved his hand gently towards the sky. He said, "Kill them all. Don't leave a single one alive." What this? Sakura did not have any intention of hiding his words. He said it openly. Everyone was even more puzzled as to why Sakura waved his hand towards the sky. However, in the next moment, everyone reacted. After Sakura waved his hand, 6 men who looked like the black-robed middle-aged man appeared in the sky. Yes, young master. The Azura clansmen who received the order rushed forward with killing intent. Facing more than a dozen middle-stage divine monarch cultivators, it was naturally not a problem. Even if it was an early-stage divine monarch cultivator, they would probably be able to kill him on the spot. Even if it was a middle-stage god emperor, even if they could not kill him, it would at most be a draw. What? No. We are from the Ninth Continent's Danzong Sect. Aren't you afraid of the Danzong Sect's revenge? Suru realized that something was wrong. Then, in order to protect his life, he brought out the Danzong Sect behind him. He wanted to use it as a shield to protect his life. However, he was wrong. Sakura's true body was Lin Rei. For an enemy who killed his wife and child, how could Lin Rei, who dared to kill millions of people, be weak as his avatar? Furthermore, in the past few hundred years, Sakura had been baptized by the Heavenly Slaughter Sect. He had killed countless people. He did not care about the lives of these few days. Although Sakura did not think that he was a good person, at the very least, he did not take the lives of ordinary people. As for this Suru, he had no bottom line. He could only kill such a person. Of course, the more important reason was that he was from the Ninth Continent. He wanted to be hunted down by the experts of the Ninth Continent. Only with pressure would he have motivation. Danzong Sect. So what if it's the Danzong Sect? Don't worry, sooner or later, I will make a trip to the Danzong Sect. However, when the time comes, we will see if the Danzong Sect can survive or not. After saying this, Sakura did not look at him again. He casually returned to his seat in the restaurant and sat down. He picked up the wine jar on the table and fiercely poured a mouthful of strong liquor into his mouth. His face revealed a comfortable smile. At this moment, Mu Ling and the other three sitting across the table had strange expressions. Their eyes were filled with fear as they looked at Sakura. At this moment, they did not look down on him. Oh no. I am the Danzong Sect's ninth elders. Miserable screams came from outside the window. Immediately, Mu Ling turned his head to look. At this moment, the 7 black-clothed men had already entered a state of killing. Every one of their attacks was extremely fierce. Every move was fatal, without a trace of emotion. Say, Senior, they are the descendants of the Ninth Continent Sect. Are you not afraid of being hunted down by the experts of the Ninth Continent's Danzong Sect? Sakura, who was drinking, heard Mu Ling's question. Immediately, Sakura put down the wine jar in his hand and replied with disdain, I'm afraid they won't come. Chapter 580. At this moment, Mu Ling and the others didn't treat Sakura's words as a joke. Because of the scene just now, they knew that Sakura had such strength. The news of the Ninth Continent's appearance swept across the entire God realm like a gust of wind. All the disciples of the sects and clans in the God realm knew about the appearance of the Ninth Continent. Furthermore, after the cultivators of the Ninth Continent came out, they all warned their disciples that if they encountered such a situation outside, they should hide as much as possible. If they could not hide, they should not fight head-on. Of course, some people were still unconvinced. Take the saints and saintesses of the top sects, for example. After all, they were born as the pride of the heavens. Now that the cultivators of the Ninth Continent had appeared, how could they be convinced? However, after all, they were not Indra himself. Their strength was all grown under the care of their own family or sex experts. The appearance of the Ninth Continent. It was destined that the God realm would enter an era of bloodshed. The peaceful God realm would no longer be peaceful. In Nine Spirits Lake City, Lin Rei, who was in seclusion, had not woken up yet. Of course, he did not know about the appearance of the Ninth Continent. A martial god stratagem, ultimate kill. At this moment, Lin Rei was bare-chested in the system's training field. He waved the Chaos Dragon Spear in his hand vigorously. Every thrust of the spear was accompanied by the sound of thunder. After such a long time, I've finally seen the full potential of the stratagem of martial god. It's time to go out, right? Although he said so himself, he could not go out without the system's permission. After all, this was a training program specially designed for him by the system. You're right. It's very commendable that you've cultivated the stratagem of martial God to this level. However, you must guard against arrogance and impatience. Aaron, you're only at the peak of the monarch God level. If you want to break through to the emperor God level, it will depend on your hard work. As soon as the thought of going out appeared in his mind, the system spoke. However, what the system said was what Lin Ray wanted to hear at this moment. Okay, I got it. However, with my current strength, how will I fare against Xiefeng? Do I have a chance of winning? Well, you'll only know when you fight. It's too early to know now. The system commented with a smile on Lin Ray's words. As for the system's evaluation, Lin Ray understood that there was still a large gap between his strength and Xiefeng's. All right, I got it. That's all then. Cultivation knows no time. I don't know how many years have passed here. Is Hu City still in good condition? With that, Lin Ray greeted the system. Then, with a thought, his body disappeared from the system and returned to reality. Lake City, which was on the verge of collapse, miraculously stabilized. At this moment, under the ground, Xiefeng, who was attacking tirelessly, sensed a strong force coming from above. Immediately, she frowned and gradually stopped what she was doing. She looked up at the sky and saw Lin Ray in the air with her divine mind. She frowned and asked in an unfriendly tone, "Who are you? Why did you set up a formation here to prevent me from breaking through?" Hearing the mysterious voice, Lin Ray frowned and his eyes were full of doubts. At the next moment, as if he thought of something, Lin Ray transmitted his voice to her. "I'm Lin Ray. You're Xiefeng from the Untainted Land, right? Haha, you're smart. Since it was so obvious, there was no need to hide it. Since you know that I'm from the Untainted Land, you should know that you're no match for me at all with your little strength. You better leave quickly. In this way, I might consider letting you go." Lin Ray did not doubt Xiefeng's words at all. Previously, he knew that he was no match for Xiefeng. Now, after sensing Xiefeng's divine mind, he was even more certain. "I know that I'm no match for you, so I want to make a deal with you. This deal is absolutely beneficial to both of us. No one loses out. What do you think?" Since he could not defeat her, why not use his advantage urgently? Of course, this also depended on how Xiefeng was. Lin Ray was not sure about this at all. Deal. Hearing Lin Li's words, Demonic Phoenix's face turned puzzled. But of course, beneath the puzzlement was a hint of curiosity as well. She wanted to know what sort of benefits a divine monarch could bring her. Hearing Xiefeng's curiosity, Lin Ray was delighted. There's a chance. Then, he told her the content of his deal. "I can help you save you. Of course, you have to help me complete 3 things. If you complete these 3 things, I won't keep you if you want to leave. What do you think?" "What? You can get me out?" At this moment, Xiefeng's expression was somewhat sarcastic. Her eyes were full of disbelief. Do you know what your words mean? I, a sage, can't break the boundary here. If I didn't risk my divine soul being destroyed this time, do you think you have the strength to do it?" Lin Ray ignored Xiefeng's disbelief and said, "You don't have to worry about that. You just need to know whether you agree to my conditions or not. If you agree, I can save you now. Of course, your divine soul can be destroyed. At that time, you will never have to look for the person trapped inside." Lin Li's words had, without a doubt, pierced the evil phoenix's heart. Anyone who felt hatred towards Lin Li for something like this would have no choice but to accept it. If she hated him, she would agree to his conditions. However, Lin Ray did not have much confidence in Xiefeng. After all, she was an old monster who had lived for God knows how many years. He was not sure if Xiefeng would agree. "Okay, I agree." Lin Li was stunned. He had thought that it would take a long time before he would be able to take down the demonic phoenix, but it had agreed so easily. In comparison, Lin Li was stunned. He stared down in disbelief. As the saying goes, there must be a demon when things are abnormal. Now that Xiefeng agreed so easily, Lin Ray began to feel a little uneasy. But in front of him, he did not want to give up such a great opportunity. "Okay, since you said so, I will believe you for the time being. After all, you're a saint expert." After saying that, He did not care if CF Feng said anything. He instantly entered the system. System, do you have a magic treasure that can pass through the boundary? Like the thing that the little dragon gave me last time. After such a long period of training and familiarizing himself with the system, Lin Ray began to be impolite. Brat, you only know how to cheat me. Although the system said so, and its tone was full of complaints, in the next moment, two bright lights appeared in front of him. This is the boundary-breaking formation. It is a very terrifying thing. I am afraid that even Xiefeng has not seen this thing before. Hee, I know that the system is the best. Looking at the two bright lights in front of him, Lin Ray looked up at the sky and thanked the system. Thank you. After saying that, Lin Ray could not wait to get out of the system. His empty left hand was now holding something with a bright light. Looking at the Break World array on the phone, Lin Li's face lit up. He looked at Evil Phoenix, who was underground, and said, Senior, I will ask you one more time. What you promised before, are you sure you can do it? If you can, I will save you right now. Lin Ray was very cautious about this matter. After all, he was about to face Xiefeng, who was a sage and not some immortal emperor or immortal prime cultivator like before. He had to be careful about this matter. Otherwise, he would suffer a loss and he would not even have a place to cry. I'm a man of my word. As long as I say it, it will naturally count. Of course, if you can't get me out now, when I break through the boundary, I will hunt you down to the ends of the earth. Hearing this, Lin Ray was slightly relieved. After all, it was not easy for a sage to say this. All right, since you've said so, I'll save you right now. After saying that, without waiting for Xiefeng to react, he used a simple ground drilling skill and rushed deep into the ground. With the cultivation base of a peak monarch god, the speed of the ground drilling skill was very fast. It was almost 1,000 meters per year. A few minutes later, just as he was about to continue going deeper, a mysterious energy suddenly bounced him back. Feeling this, Lin Ray was delighted. He then slowly came to the place where he was bounced and reached out to touch it. Instantly, an enormous surge of energy, so vast that it made Lin Li feel as though it was boundless, entered his body. Damn this! The mysterious energy came so fast that Lin Ray did not even have the chance to react. He felt that the energy had already arrived at his elixir palace. Damn, get out of here. The elixir field was the foundation of a cultivator. If the elixir field was destroyed, the cultivator's path would come to an end. However, Lin Ray was too naive. He originally thought that the energy could be destroyed. In the end, under Lin Ray's heavy encirclement, that mysterious energy was like cutting through tofu. It effortlessly cut through the shackles that Lin Ray did not know about in the Elixir Palace. Feeling this scene, Lin Ray's face turned pale instantly. His face was ashen. Sigh, what sin have I committed? Since it's like this, tisk, all right, don't embarrass yourself. That energy will not harm you. Instead, it will be interested in you. So don't worry. At this moment, the system's voice sounded. Instantly, Lin Ray's worries were suppressed. Really? Lin Ray, who was sober, wanted to confirm. However, the system did not care about him at this moment. It had already fallen into silence. Seeing that the system did not care about him, Lin Ray gave up on asking the system. Since it said that he was fine, it meant that he was really fine. Then, he did not care about the mysterious energy in his elixir field. He raised his left hand, and the boundary-breaking formation appeared instantly. Lin Ray's left hand went down and slapped the boundary-breaking formation. Suddenly, the boundary-breaking formation in his hand stuck on the mysterious boundary-breaking formation. With a swoosh, a huge whirlpool appeared in front of Lin Ray. Chapter 581. Looking at the whirlpool, Lin Ray's face lit up with joy. Without hesitation, he jumped into the warm nest. Boom! At this moment, Lin Ray truly understood what it meant to have a single thought between heaven and hell. At this moment, the moment Lin Ray entered the space where Xiefeng was without any preparation, a scorching wave of flame hit him in the face. F***. Subconsciously, he could sense how terrifying those waves of flame were. The instant he sensed it, the illusory spirit bloodfire appeared, wrapping him tightly within it. Those waves of flame that were charging towards him were blocked outside by the illusory spirit bloodfire. What surprised Lin Rei was that when the flame wave felt the illusory spirit bloodfire on Lin Rei, it did not dare to approach him. Instead, it retreated quickly. Well, what kind of flame is this? It has such an effect. At this moment, the moment she felt Lin Rei enter, Xiefeng used her divine sense to explore. Coincidentally, she saw the flame retreating. Although he was from the untainted land, this was the first time he had seen such a thing. In his mind, even if the flame was of a different grade, such a situation would not occur. At most, it would retreat 2 steps in fear. At this moment, the flame had retreated to a radius of 3 miles. Ha! This little guy has so many secrets. At this moment, Xiefeng began to have a good impression of Lin Rei. Lin Rei was naturally happy about this situation. He was very grateful to the illusory spirit bloodfire. Since he entered the Death Canyon until now, without the illusory spirit bloodfire, he would not have been able to reach this place. Perhaps he would have been obliterated at the first level of the Death Canyon. Host, release the flaming tiger. It is of the fire attribute. This place can help it cultivate. Maybe it will be surprised when it absorbs the flame here. Oh, is that so? Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei's expression changed. Although he had doubts, he had already released the flaming tiger. Oh, whoa! In an instant, a huge figure rushed out of Lin Rei's body. Accompanied by a shocking tiger roar, it was incomparably mighty. Master, didn't you say you would release me? This time it took so long. You lied to me again? Once the flaming tiger came out, it went to Lin Rei's side and began to pour out its grievances in front of him. Aha! Lin Rei felt helpless about the flaming tiger's complaints. However, this place was very rare. He did not want the flaming tiger to delay. Little tiger, you can cultivate here first. How about this? When you reach my level, I will let you follow me. You can follow me at any time, and I will not let you put away. What do you think? Is that? Hearing this, the flaming tiger's eyes were filled with doubt. It raised its huge head and questioned Lin Rei. This of course. I won't lie to you. Listen to me and hurry up and cultivate. As he spoke, Lin Rei's face could not help but sweat. When he said this, Lin Rei did not have much confidence in his heart. That I won't lie to you made Lin Rei feel very conflicted. After all, he had lied to him many times. Fine, I'll believe you this time. However, this time, it must be true. Although it was very unwilling to believe it, Lin Rei was its master after all. Similarly, it also needed to cultivate. Therefore, after saying this, the flaming tiger lay on the ground and began to cultivate. Of course, the flaming tiger did not listen to this sentence. Because of the previous lesson, so few. Seeing that the flaming tiger had entered cultivation, Luo Yunyang waved his hand, and a supreme-level protective array formation instantly appeared around the flaming tiger to protect it. Although it was very difficult to encounter danger here, it was still necessary to be on guard. Even Luo Yunyang himself was the same. Although he had a deal with Xiefeng and Xiefeng had agreed to it, it was better to be vigilant. After all, the disparity between the two of them was too great. Come, I'm in the central area of this space. Come here, and you will be able to see my true body. At this moment, Xiefeng's voice sounded again. Lin Rei frowned. Then he secretly operated his cultivation technique and prepared for any abnormalities. Whoosh! In an instant, his body soared into the sky, found a direction, and quickly rushed in that direction. Previously, when Lin Rei entered, he did not feel it. At this moment, after flying for a long time, he finally felt the capacity of this space. Lin Rei had been flying for 5 minutes. According to his speed, he was probably hundreds of thousands of miles away from the outside. Although he did not know where this place was, it should not be bad. F***CK. Where the F***CK is this place. At least give me a direction. If this is a circle, then I'll have to keep going around like this. It was not that Lin Ray did not think of this idea, but he always had a fluke mentality in his heart. Sigh, forget it, I'll do it. Hearing this, Lin Ray was startled. Then, his previous thoughts were confirmed. It was because of this matter. A terrifying energy instantly appeared and wrapped around his body. Then his vision blurred. When he appeared again, he was already in front of Xie Feng. Plop! Because he was wrapped in Xie Feng's energy, Lin Ray did not use his cultivation at all. Who knew? At this moment, the energy suddenly disappeared, catching Lin Ray unprepared. He directly fell from the sky to the ground. Damn, can't you tell me when you remove the energy? If you do this, Lin Ray complained. The moment he stood up and turned around, an extremely huge wind appeared in front of Lin Ray. Raising his head, Lin Ray looked at Xie Feng, who left him in the dust. He could not help but swallow his saliva. His eyes were full of shock. Hee, put away the saliva at the corner of your mouth. Everyone who sees me will think of you like this. Lin Ray, who was still in shock, suddenly heard such a shameless and narcissistic sentence. He was instantly stunned. At this moment, he started to be magnanimous towards Xie Feng again. This was different from what he had expected. After being stunned for a while, Lin Ray's expression became serious when he regained his senses. His tone was even more serious. All right, let's talk about our conditions. Now that you know my ability, shouldn't you? Hee, that's right. Before Linley could finish speaking, Evil Phoenix interrupted him. I can agree to all of your previous conditions. 3 conditions, and I'll give you a stroke of good fortune. Seeing as you are now a peak stage divine sovereign, I won't write anything down and will allow you to instantly become a god emperor. What do you say? What, are you serious? At this moment, Lin Ray took a step forward excitedly. Perhaps it was because of the emperor god level and that voice that attracted him instantly. However, in the next moment, Lin Ray regained his senses and knew that he was strange. He immediately coughed twice and returned to his original position. That's right. Of course, what I said is true. My words carry enormous weight. If you're not the only one, you can ask the ancestral dragon. Back then, I gave up a lot of things for him. At this point, Xie Feng's gaze became gentle and her aura also underwent a subtle change at this moment. The ancestral dragon. Lin Ray knew about the ancestral dragon. There were only 4 ancestral dragons in the untainted land. Heaven, Earth, Black, and Yellow. They were the ancestors of the dragon group. However, this great tribulation of the Dragon Han era ended up as nutrients for the heaven and earth. Kacha! A cracking sound was heard. Suddenly, it attracted Lin Ray's attention. Following the sound, Lin Ray's gaze turned to a huge egg placed not far from this building. It can't be. Looking at the huge egg, Lin Ray's eyes were filled with disbelief. At this moment, he already had an answer in his heart. There was such an egg here. In addition to the surrounding sea of fire, it was conceivable that this was Xie Feng's egg. Boy, don't look at it. This thing is not for you to look at. Originally, I planned to send my son out even at the risk of my divine soul being destroyed. However, I didn't expect you to come and so easily. Now, I don't need to do it anymore. Hearing this, Lin Ray smiled bitterly. If he had known this, he would have chosen again. The huge egg in front of him was very tempting. This was the child of an expert in the untainted land. After it was born, it would definitely be extraordinary. Well, I know. Even so, Lin Ray's eyes still glanced at the huge egg from time to time. After all, the temptation of this thing was so tempting that Lin Ray could not resist it. Boy, besides those old things, you are the first one to call yourself in front of me. Hearing the evil Phoenix's words and seeing that she wasn't displeased, Linley immediately relaxed. I'm not one of those old bastards. What's more, we have a mutually beneficial relationship. Why should I lower myself? Hearing this, Xie Feng appreciated Lin Ray even more. Tut, with such wisdom and determination, I am afraid that this boy will become a great existence in the future. Lin Ray did not know about Xie Feng's thoughts at all. Well, tell me about the three conditions. Well, say it. As long as I can do it, I will not go back on my words. Seeing how great this building was, Linley didn't try to hide it any longer. All right, then I'll tell you. With that, Lin Ray said the three conditions in his heart. First, you have to help me find the three ghost kings who were suppressed in the ghost realm when they were alive. Let me open the reincarnation mirror to find my wife and children. Oh, ghost kings? Those three little guys? Are you sure you want to use this condition? At this moment, Xiefeng heard Lin Ray's words and looked at him with a strange expression. She really did not expect that the three conditions she agreed to would be so easy. Lin Ray did not know how to answer Xiefeng's words, although it was very easy for her. But it was very difficult for him, and he had to wait for a while. If there was no Xiefeng's matter, he was afraid that the waiting time would be even longer. Yes, as long as you let me get what I want, then the first thing is done. Hearing this, Xiefeng did not say anything. Since it was like this, it was not good for her to say more. It was troublesome to mess with him. I haven't thought of the second one yet, but I will tell you when I think of it. What? You didn't? At this moment, Xiefeng, who had been calm all the time, was not calm anymore. She thought that he had thought of the three conditions, but now that, you can rest assured. Even so, you can leave if you want. This noble one will not stop you, but if this noble one thinks of it, you have to help me do it. Don't delay my business. Phew. Hearing Lin Ray's explanation, Xiefeng was finally relieved. Okay, I agree to this. Since the second condition was not thought of, the third one was even more so. Okay, since you have no more conditions, then this noble one will agree to the opportunity that I promised to give you before. Hearing Xiefeng's words, Lin Ray wanted to say something, but he saw a black shadow appear in an instant, and a fiery red energy instantly entered his body. Seeing this, Lin Ray's heart was filled with helplessness. I just broke through, and I haven't stabilized yet. If I break through now, my foundation, thinking of this, Lin Ray wanted to refuse, but at this moment, the huge amount of energy that entered his body began to help him increase all his functions and the capacity of his dantian. Damn this. Feeling this, Lin Ray could not help but be shocked. This was not only increasing his cultivation to Emperor God, but also increasing his strength completely. Thinking of this, Lin Ray could not help but feel the strength of his physical body. At this moment, the strength of his physical body was increasing at a very fast speed. How is it? This noble one said that if I increase your strength, you will not be short of the opportunity that we agreed on. Hearing Xiefeng's words, Lin Ray did not have a chance. He closed his eyes and began to seriously absorb the spiritual energy that Xiefeng inserted into his body. Ka, bang, crack. At this moment, Lin Ray only felt that his strength was increasing exponentially, and the feeling that came from his body made him feel very comfortable. Xiefeng, you actually want to escape from the boundary that I set up. You are really bold, aren't you? Right now, in the outside world, the evil phoenix was waiting for Linley to make his breakthrough so that he could take her and her son away. But who would have thought that right at this moment, a voice that she loathed and disgusted with could be heard? From that voice, one could tell that it was filled with hostility and hatred. Hao Yin? At this moment, Xiefeng was no longer calm. Her eyes were filled with hatred, and she instantly blurted out these harsh words. The evil phoenix had never forgotten this voice. When Hao Yin was still Hongjuan's Dao child, she gave him some cultivation experience and some Kane treasures. Later on, he ungratefully suppressed her. Since then, Hao Yin had been killed by Hongjun. As soon as Xiefeng heard Hao Yin's voice, she knew that this voice belonged to Hao Yin. Chapter 582. It's me. Hao Yin's voice sounded again. Xiefeng realized that it wasn't her intuition. Hao Yin had appeared. At this moment, the evil phoenix released its divine sense and enveloped the entire underground world. However, what puzzled the evil phoenix was that there was no trace of Hao Tian in the underground world. There was also no trace of his aura. Humph. Hao Ian, I treated you well back then, but what about you? You want me dead? You ungrateful thing, she carefully probed with her consciousness as she spoke. Although she knew that Hao Ian wasn't as strong as her, he had Hong Jun, who had fused with Tendo. She had to be careful. Haha, CF Feng. I suppressed you back then because I didn't want the ancient beast to appear in this world. But you, after such a long time, you still don't repent and want to break out of the formation. Tell me, how should I deal with you? You deal with me? Hao Ian, it's not that I'm looking down on you, but you're not a connate demon god, nor are you one of the first divine spirits to emerge from the realms. Tell me, what right do you have to spout such nonsense? You can deal with me however you want. The evil phoenix mocked with disdain. Hao Ian, it's not that I'm looking down on you. So much time has passed, and you're not even a connate demon god, much less one of the first divine spirits to emerge from the realms. At this point, the evil phoenix seemed to have hit a sore spot, and its tone became agitated. Back then, if it wasn't for Hong Jun, would you have been able to defeat and seal me with just your 9 revolutions golden body technique? Even now, I'm not afraid of you, let alone back then. The atmosphere in the underground world began to condense. Smoke filled the air, and the situation became tense. Crack, crack. Just at that moment, the sound of something shattering rang out. The evil phoenix frowned and turned to look at the huge egg beside it. Numerous cracks appeared on the egg, and as the cracks grew larger and larger, they became densely packed. Why would he be born at this time? It shouldn't be. Looking at the birth of her son, Xiefeng did not look as surprised or excited as she had imagined. Instead, she looked worried and doubtful. Not bad. I didn't expect you to be so lucky back then. You actually brought a vile spawn of the Phoenix clan. Since that's the case, all of you can die. Humph, Hao Ian, how dare you? Hearing Hao Ian's words, Xiefeng tensed up. Although she knew that she was very strong, after so many years, no one knew how strong she was. However, in order to protect her son, in order to protect the only successor of the Phoenixes, she must protect his life with her life. She could not let him die as soon as he was born. Ha! Hao Ian's sword, destroy it for me. Swish! Hao Tian yelled, and in the next moment, an invisible sword blade with immense sword intent appeared beside the giant egg. How is this possible? Feeling the immense sword intent, Xiefeng was a little stunned. However, it was related to her son's life. After a moment of hesitation, she came back to her senses and instantly came in front of the giant egg. A pair of wings instantly wrapped the giant egg in her arms. At this moment, the sword blade that Hao Ian shot out arrived in front of her. Unable to dodge in time, Xiefeng gritted her teeth and then used her body to block the attack. Bang! A loud sound was heard. Feeling Hao Ian's sword intent, Xiefeng sneered. Just now, she personally experienced Hao Ian's sword intent. Although it looked very strong, there was nothing in her stomach at all. It was as if Hao Ian's attack was the same as when he suppressed her. It was at the peak of the ultimate god realm. Humph, you're injured. Xiefeng's clan can't exist in this world. Die for me. Without waiting for Xiefeng to slow down, 7 or 8 densely packed sword intents rushed towards her. Although she had escaped from the previous situation, she did not dare to be careless. Before the sword intents arrived, Xiefeng wrapped the giant egg and instantly came in front of Lin Rei. Then, a mysterious formation wrapped Lin Rei and the giant egg. The moment she finished setting up the formation, she unfolded her huge wings. The moment her fiery red wings flapped hard, she instantly disappeared from Lin Rei's surroundings. Don't go, take my sword. In this way, the place where Lin Rei was quiet. At this moment, the cracking sound was getting more and more intense. The giant egg standing beside him was splitting and disintegrating little by little. Just a little more, just a little more. As long as I can improve a little more, I can smoothly break through the realm. I can become a true God Emperor. Previously, when he received Xiefeng's help, he had a look of reluctance. He was afraid that this matter would destroy his own traces. However, after feeling the gentle form of the energy, in addition to the performance of various incidents, he knew that the energy in his body that helped him to improve his realm did not bring any inconvenience to him. Immediately, he felt relieved. At this moment, the spiritual energy in his divine soul, in his Dan Palace, was advancing at a speed that left Lin Ray in the dust. Advancing at this speed was extremely difficult. Could it be that Lin Ray could not stand it anymore? Kacha! Kacha! The cracking sound was still ringing out. Lin Ray, who was excited because of his breakthrough, was puzzled. TSK, what's this sound? Is CF Foam breaking my bones? No, it can't be. CF Foam doesn't look like that kind of person. Hearing the cracking sound, Lin Ray was no longer in the mood to cultivate his Buddhist energy. However, the hole in his brain was too big. How could he think of such a thing? Awum! At this moment, the sound of a young bird was transmitted into Lin Ray's mind. At this moment, he was even more puzzled. What was the sound of something being broken, coupled with the sound of a young bird? At this moment, Lin Ray could not help but think of the huge egg that Xiefeng had stretched out her hand when he first came in. It can't be. Isn't that thing always guarded by this building? This, although he could not figure it out, Lin Ray did not think too much about it. At this moment, he could not be distracted. Once he was distracted, he would be the one who would be injured. Following which, Lin Ray continued to cultivate. As the saying went, one's ears did not pay attention to the outside world. At this moment, he had entered the deepest state of cultivation. At this moment, all his senses of the outside world had disappeared. He had entered a feeling of nothingness. Bang, bang, bang. At this moment, at the place where Lin Ray was, there were sounds of explosions coming from very far away. If there were no trees here, then this place would have been filled with yellow sand and trees. Xiefeng, I will ask you one last time. Are you going back or not? If you go back, then this matter will be over. I will not make things difficult for you. Of course, as long as you can go back, this is the prerequisite. You want me to go back? That's impossible. Today, I will definitely come out. What can you do to me? At this point, he already knew that there was no turning back for this matter. Come on, let me see how long you have been suppressed here. Let me see how much your cultivation has improved. With that, the two of them instantly started fighting. However, at this moment, Xiefeng still could not find how Tian's figure. She was just talking to the air, but those huge sword intents were indeed there. In the holy world, in the central heavenly court, a dignified person wearing a dragon robe and a dragon crown sat in the middle. His originally closed eyes suddenly opened at this moment. A ray of light instantly appeared in his eyes. Oh no, Xiefeng is about to be born. What? Xiefeng, that one? At this moment. Now, after hearing the man's words, everyone was shocked and horrified. As they spoke, they could not help but imagine Xiefeng swallowing the nirvana flames of the phoenix. She seemed to have gone crazy and was slaughtering the living beings in the world. Thinking of this, everyone shuddered at the same time, and their faces turned pale. That's right. The divine soul that I placed above the enchantment to suppress Xiefeng has been awakened just now. This means that Xiefeng is about to be born. Moreover, this time, a very interesting young man is helping her. What? The man's words stunned everyone. However, immediately, one of the white-haired old Taoists in a Taoist robe walked out of the crowd and said to the man sitting at the top, Heaven Emperor, you must be careful about this matter. In order to suppress Xiefeng, we ask the Taoist ancestor. If this Xiefeng holds a grudge against you for suppressing her, then, yes, Heaven Emperor, we should be careful about this matter. I don't think we should let Saint Tianhao take a look. If it's true, we could prepare in advance, or let Saint Tianhao kill her on the spot. Yes. Immortal Shangqing is right. If Xiefeng is really born, then what we did to her back then. At this moment, after the first person spoke, the second and third person followed. Everyone's face was filled with horror and fear. Xiefeng would be very happy if she knew about this scene. Of course, If CF Feng saw the man in the dragon robe here, she would not hesitate to rush up and kill him because he was Hao Qian, the Taoist child of Dao Reunion Hongjun. Haha, it's easy for you to say. If CF Feng is really like what you said, then it would be great. Although the great Dao has disappeared and Tendo is in charge, CF Feng is still the first batch of living beings born in heaven and earth. Even Saint Yua would not dare to say such a thing. Hearing Hao Ian's words, everyone shut up. After all, CF Feng was the first batch of living beings born in heaven and earth. Even Yua would not dare to say such a thing. So what could they do? Then should this matter be left unsettled? If CF Feng is born and goes straight to the holy world, then there will be consequences. Heaven Emperor, have you thought about it? Although our heavenly court has great influence in the holy world, if it really happens, what will happen? After a middle-aged man finished speaking, the scene fell silent. Hao Tian's expression became even uglier. The other party was right. The evil phoenix's strength could not be underestimated. After suppressing the evil phoenix, he knew that most of its power came from the Dao ancestor. If he bought it again, he would be able to use it again. If he bought it again, he would not be able to do it with his current strength. TSK, how should we deal with it? Should we report CF Feng to the Tao ancestor? He suppressed CF Feng back then. If now, thinking of this, a majestic and unquestionable voice involuntarily appeared in his mind. Hao Ian, I will not interfere in this matter. However, this matter has already happened, so we have to find a way to resolve it. After the great calamity of the Dragon Han era, although the Phoenix clan became the last branch in the world, if she dares to run amok, we will not spare her. Hao Tian became excited when he heard that. That voice was not someone else's. Although it was unfamiliar to others, it was very familiar to him. It was the voice of the Dao ancestor, the master he had served for who knows how many eras. But Tao ancestor, CF Feng's strength is extraordinary. Even with my current strength, I can't defeat her, and the Tao ancestor, who seemed to know what Hao Ian was going to say, immediately said, "Don't worry. I've already told them about this matter. If CF Feng really comes, they will help you." Hearing this, Hao Ian completely relaxed at this moment. The worry in his heart disappeared at this moment. Thank you, Tao ancestor, for planning for me. I am really ashamed. Okay, that's enough. This matter is settled. There should be. Help me find a person with a purple bloodline. Cheering for this person is very important. Remember, if you find him, don't come up. You must treat him with respect. If you find him, don't come up. When you find him, send me a message and I will personally come. What? A person with purple bloodline? Yes. Seeing Hao Ian's shock, the Tao ancestor quickly asked, "Why, you know of his existence?" Hearing this, Hao Ian said without hesitation, "It's like this a few days ago, the Tranquil Sect. Just like this, the Tranquil Sect notified all the big sects in the Holy World, Divine World, Immortal World, and Mortal World. They said that if they find someone with purple bloodline, they will definitely reward you greatly. There is such a thing." Hearing this, the Tao ancestor fell silent for a moment and then said, "Keep a close eye on the Tranquil Sect. Observe their every move. If you really find someone with purple bloodline, discuss it and ask them to give it up. Of course, if not, oomph." At this moment, Hao Ian felt a terrifying killing intent. It was a killing intent that made his body tremble and freeze. All right, that's all for now. I'll be taking my leave. Now that I've reached the Dao unification stage, all of my actions are restricted. After saying this, the Tao ancestor's voice disappeared in Hao Ian's mind. At this moment, Hao Ian was still sitting in his seat, but his face was blank and pale. He was completely different from before. What's going on? Why is the Heaven Emperor like this? At this moment, the people standing below felt Hao Tian's abnormality and started whispering to each other worriedly. Chapter 583. All right, that's all for now. As for CF Feng, the Emperor will take care of it. If you have something to say it quickly. If not, you may leave. The Emperor is a little tired today. Hearing Hao Ian's words, everyone was stunned. However, they did not dare to neglect Hao Ian's words. Yes, then we'll take our leave. Okay, just like that. Everyone left the palace with doubts and flew back to their own dojos. At this moment, Hao Ian, who was still sitting on the throne, looked at the empty palace and waved his hand. Whoosh! At this moment, Hao Ian waved his hand, and 8 men in black appeared in front of him. Plop! The 8 men knelt down the moment they saw Hao Ian. We, the Shadow Guards, pay our respects to the Emperor of Heaven. May I know why the Emperor of Heaven has summoned us? Hao Ian, who was sitting on the throne, heard their voices and said to them without even looking up, "Go and find a person with purple bloodline for the Emperor. Once you find him, you can appear in front of others with your real faces. Moreover, the Emperor will give you a new identity." Ah, Emperor of Heaven. Emperor of Heaven, are you serious? Can you really give us a real identity? At this moment, the 8 Shadow Guards heard Hao Ian's words and knelt down excitedly. They were eager to try. Looking at them, Hao Ian sneered in his heart. As Shadow Guards, your natural duty is to hide in the dark and protect the Emperor. The moment you became Shadow Guards, you were destined to never see the light of day again. Although Hao Ian thought so, he did not say it out loud. Yes, the Emperor of Heaven is a man of his word. As long as you find a person with purple bloodline, the Emperor of Heaven will fulfill his promise. Of course, if you want to get a position in the heavenly court, the Emperor of Heaven will arrange it for you. The 8 Shadow Guards looked at Hao Ian, who was sitting on the throne. His aura of righteousness was awe-inspiring. At this moment, they all believed him. Yes, I will not let you down. I will definitely find someone with a purple bloodline for you, Celestial Emperor. Seeing how determined they were, Hao Tian sneered and waved his hand to dismiss them. All right, all of you may leave. Remember, this matter is only known to the 8 of you. If the Emperor hears about this from others, then all of you... At the end of his words, Hao Ian's eyes suddenly turned cold, and he looked at them with a murderous look. Yes. We will definitely complete the mission that you, the Heavenly Emperor, have given us. We will definitely not fail. With that, everyone kowtowed to Hao Ian again before slowly exiting the palace. Hao Tian's face turned cold as he watched the 8 of them disappear. The murderous intent in his eyes overshadowed his righteousness. You want to see the light? What a joke. A bunch of rats who have been hiding their whole lives actually dares to negotiate with the Emperor. At this point, the Sky Emperor looked at the sky with his deep eyes and then slowly closed his eyes. The moment the Sky Emperor closed his eyes, the murderous aura retreated into his body and the great righteousness appeared again, filling Hao Ian. Bang! At this moment, Xiefeng was fighting with the consciousness left behind by Hao Tian in the underground of Xiefeng Lake City. Unfortunately, Xiefeng did not discover the location of Hao Tian's remnant shadow at all. I found you by the carriage. At this moment, Xiefeng looked around. Seeing that there was no sword chi rushing out, Xiefeng's face turned cold. This move was the most humiliating in his life. He did not discover any trace of the enemy. If he had to go out, the reputation of the Phoenix tribe would be ruined. A woo, a phoenix cry accompanied by waves of flames filled the entire underground world in an instant. He's born? How can it be? How can he be born now? It shouldn't be. At this moment, when he heard the phoenix's cry, he knew that it was the sound of his son being born. However, there was no joy on his face. He was full of doubts. In addition, the flames in the underground world were all from the undying volcano. As long as someone from the Phoenix tribe was born, the flames from the undying volcano would cause a huge uproar. Therefore, the flames and the Phoenix's cry were enough to prove that someone from the Phoenix tribe was born. Mother! Mother! At this moment, in the central area of the underground world, Lin Ray sat cross-legged in the air with a smile on his face. However, his eyes were still closed. At this moment, the gigantic egg beside Lin Ray had disappeared. All that was left was a body of fiery red feathers with flames around it. It had a shifty look as it circled around Lin Ray, calling out the word mother to Lin Ray. Thankfully, Lin Ray was at the most critical moment of breaking through. He had already shut down his consciousness, hearing, and other senses. Otherwise, if he were to hear the words of this little phoenix, he would definitely be so pissed that he would come out of his cultivation state and smack him in the butt with a ruler. Mother! Mother! It was a young boy who looked like he was only 3 or 4 years old at most. His childish voice was extremely adorable. If he were to appear on Planet Aqua Blue, everyone would definitely fall in love with him. Shoo! Just at this moment, just as the little phoenix was circling around Linley and calling out for his mother, a huge fiery red figure rushed over from the distance at an extremely fast speed. Mommy! Mommy! Can you play with me? Ah! At this moment, when the evil phoenix heard her own child calling a stranger mother again, she felt cold. At the same time, she felt a little uncomfortable in her heart. Huh. At this moment, the little phoenix had also noticed Xie Feng, who had just arrived. He looked over with a puzzled expression. Why? Why do you look the same as me? My mother is cultivating right now. Don't disturb her. At this moment, the little phoenix spread out his tender wings, wanting to stop Xie Feng in her tracks. At the same time, he stood in front of Lin Ray, looking as though he wanted to protect his mother. Looking at her own son in front of her, looking like a fierce Prince Charming, Xie Feng felt as though a knife was being twisted in her heart. She also felt a trace of happiness. After all, he had just been born and she wasn't by his side. It was normal that he didn't know. Seeing him protect his mother like this made her heart feel warm. Of course, it was just that he had mistaken her for his mother in the end. Hee, Feng Su, you've made a mistake. I'm your mother. The person behind you is here to escort us out. Don't you see that we look like parents? Is that person a human? Xie Feng felt helpless about her own explanation, but she had no choice. Who asked her to come late? Huh, is that so? Hearing Evil Phoenix's words, the little phoenix turned to look at Linley, puzzled. A puzzled look appeared in his eyes, but then he turned back to look at Evil Phoenix. For some reason, his gaze was much friendlier than before. That's right. Moreover, Feng Su, this is your name. This is the name I gave you before you were born. With that, Xie Feng's eyes were filled with gentleness. She stepped forward and walked towards the little phoenix step by step. Although she still had some doubts about her son's birth, a son was a son after all. When she saw Feng Su at this moment, all her previous doubts were thrown to the back of her mind. No, wait. I have to wait for my mother to wake up and ask her. She said not to trust strangers. Wait first. At this moment, Xie Feng was very regretful when she heard the little phoenix's words. She really wanted to give herself 2 big slaps. Damn, what did I say to Feng Su back then? I didn't expect that these words would be used on me in the end. Thinking of this, Xie Feng felt a wave of regret. But it was too late to regret. Things had already become like this. It was probably too late to go back on her words. Sigh. Okay. Whatever you say, okay. But Feng Su, eat your egg first. Eat your eggshell first. It's good for you. Looking at Feng Su's appearance, Xie Feng could only do this. Xie Feng was very unhappy with Lin Ray now. Feng Su heard Xie Feng's words. He turned to look at the eggshell beside him. Physically, he didn't want to eat it, but a voice from his soul told him to eat it. Okay, I got it. With that, Feng Su went to the eggshell and lowered his head to eat it. Then, the sound of munching could be heard. When Xie Feng heard the sound of her son eating, a smile appeared on her face. Her eyes were very gentle at this moment. The murderous aura from before had completely disappeared at this moment. At this moment, just as Feng Su was happily eating, a tiger's roar came from afar. The tiger's roar had the domineering aura of a king, and the voice was filled with fierce, murderous aura. The tiger's roar shocked Feng Su. He immediately gave up eating and went to Lin Ray's side to seek protection. When Xie Feng saw this, the gentleness on her face disappeared. Then, she turned to look in the direction of the tiger's roar. Then, the fiery red wings carried its huge body and instantly disappeared from the spot. The phoenix's speed was very fast. In the blink of an eye, Xiefeng arrived at the location of the tiger's roar. She lowered her head and looked down on the ground. She saw a huge tiger that was filled with undying flames. Its aura had reached the level of an emperor god. Xiefeng saw this scene and was very shocked. However, what shocked Xiefeng even more was that at this moment, a pair of phoenix-like wings appeared on the tiger's body. How is this possible? What kind of species is this? This scene had already stunned Xiefeng. She didn't expect this tiger to have wings like hers. Oh, at this moment, the scarlet flame tiger seemed to have felt the gaze from the sky. Then, it raised its head and roared. Feeling the scarlet flame tiger's provocation, Xiefeng frowned. Then, she flapped her wings. Instantly, a huge fireball condensed under Xiefeng's wings. Awoo! Awoo! Feeling the threat from the sky, the scarlet flame tiger didn't show any signs of weakness. Then, a strange scene appeared. This scene stunned even Xiefeng. The scarlet flame tiger looked at Xiefeng's actions. Then, it spread its fiery red wings, and a fireball that was exactly the same as the one that Xiefeng condensed appeared. How is this possible? How did you? Even so, she couldn't be careless in front of a powerful enemy. Although she knew that with her strength, she could crush the tiger on the ground, Xiefeng still didn't dare to be careless. Come, let this sovereign see if your fireball is more powerful or this sovereign's. Whoosh, whoosh, right at this moment. The two fireballs were launched at the same time. They were so fast that no one could catch a trace of them. Bang! A loud sound rang out. The moment the two fireballs collided with each other, it turned into a strong wave of air that instantly spread towards the surroundings. Bang! The wave of air instantly arrived. The moment the scarlet flame tiger on the ground felt the wave of air, it was instantly sent flying far away by the wave of air, until it smashed onto the barrier. Bang! The scarlet flame tiger was bombarded by the wave of air and hit the barrier. However, at this moment, the barrier was activated. A strong force instantly appeared and transmitted to the scarlet flame tiger. It was unknown if the scarlet flame tiger was unlucky or what. Once again, it was sent flying. Coincidentally, the scarlet flame tiger finally returned to the place where the battle started. However, the moment the wave of air arrived, Xiefeng flapped her wings and the wave of air dissipated. Looking at the scarlet flame tiger that was bounced back and forth, Xiefeng sneered. A mere divine lord dares to make a move against me. Do you really think that I grew up eating rice? Oh, well, so what? Emperor wants to see. How strong are you? And how strong is Emperor when he just broke through? While speaking, the scarlet flame tiger stood up from the ground. Its fiery red wings flapped, and it stood side by side with Xiefeng. Its eyes were filled with contempt for the world. It was almost as if it was a sunset with Lin Ray. Looking at the scarlet flame tiger, Xiefeng laughed. Really, what kind of master is busy with? What kind of mount is there? With that, Xiefeng flapped her wings, and in an instant, two fireballs appeared. With a huge murderous aura, they rushed towards the scarlet flame tiger. What? The moment the two fireballs appeared, the scarlet flame tiger felt the terrifying energy coming from the two fireballs. The scarlet flame tiger's eyes were red with anger. Bang! However, because the speed of the two fireballs was very fast, and Xiefeng attacked in an instant, the scarlet flame tiger didn't even have time to react. Its body was hit by the fireballs. The scarlet flame tiger's body was sent flying again. This time, the fireballs were even stronger than before. At this moment, the scarlet flame tiger didn't even have the strength to stand up. And this time, the power that Xiefeng used was too strong. It was beyond what a divine lord could bear. In addition, Xiefeng's body was the authentic, undying flame. Therefore, the scarlet flame tiger was burned by the undying flame and couldn't move. Chapter 584. Let's go. Follow me back to your master. Although the scarlet flaming tiger's behavior was bad, It was Lin Ray's mount after all. She couldn't be too harsh on it. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying force that made the flaming tiger tremble appeared and dragged it up from the ground. Looking at the scarlet flaming tiger, Xie Feng didn't have another chance. She spread her wings and flew towards Lin Ray's location. The scarlet flaming tiger was extremely fast. As a demonic beast that had just become a god emperor, it felt that its dignity was being insulted. Ow! At this time, Feng Su, who was beside Lin Ray, had finished eating the eggshell. The feathers on her body that looked like flames looked even more similar now. Moreover, the degree of similarity was close to 100%. Wow, I get feathers from killing a tiger? At this time, when Feng Su saw the tiger that Xie Feng brought over, she looked at it curiously and couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. In comparison, Xie Feng didn't say anything. Seeing that her son could sense it, she was naturally happy. Moreover, Feng Su had just gotten into trouble and she hadn't seen a tiger before, let alone a scarlet flaming tiger that had suddenly grown wings after absorbing the undying flames. I'm a god emperor scarlet flaming tiger. Also, who is this little bird? Why is it beside my young master? Immediately, the scarlet flaming tiger, who wasn't far from Lin Ray, saw Feng Su beside Lin Ray and instantly became jealous. This is my mother. Who are you? Why? Haha. At this time, a loud and happy laughter came out of the scarlet flaming tiger's mouth after hearing Feng Su's words. Haha. Mother, when did young master change his gender? And finally, haha, I can't, let me laugh for a while. Feng Su didn't understand when she saw the scarlet flaming tiger's laughter, but the scarlet flaming tiger's laughter infected Feng Su. Then, the two's laughter spread throughout the underground world. Seeing her son Rui happy, the evil phoenix was very satisfied. What kind of mother would want her son to be unhappy? Sigh, you can call me whatever you want, as long as you're happy. Xie Feng's words were filled with melancholy. Then, she looked at Lin Ray, who was cultivating, with a bitter expression. At this moment, Lin Ray still didn't know what was happening outside. If he knew, he would definitely beat the Crimson Flame tiger up without any scruples. As for little Phoenix Feng Su, that would depend on whether Xie Feng was by her side or not. Otherwise, she would definitely be beaten up. Haha, come on, it's the last time. Whether or not we succeed depends on you. At this moment, Lin Ray was already at the final juncture of his cultivation. He looked at the barrier in front of him. Lin Ray instantly mobilized all the spirit chi in his body. At this moment, the primal chaos scripture was overloaded. Come on, charge for me. In an instant, a terrifying energy flowed through the meridians in his body and reached the barrier in his consciousness. Without thinking, he crashed into it without hesitation. Bang! Gotcha! A roar came from Lin Ray's body, followed by the sound of something shattering. Moreover, the shattering sound was getting louder and louder. Gotcha! Gotcha! Gotcha boom! In the end, a wave of terrifying energy and pressure instantly rushed out of his body and surged out in all directions like waves of water. Bang! The Crimson Flame Tiger, who had been freed by Xie Feng, was caught off guard. The moment it felt Lin Ray's pressure, it was pressed to the ground with a loud bang. This situation was especially awkward. It was already awkward because of Xie Feng's strength. At this moment, the Crimson Flame Tiger felt that it had lost all its face. Haha, I didn't expect this kid to release the pressure of a peak Divine Emperor just by breaking through to the Divine Emperor realm. His strength hasn't reached the ultimate god level yet. It seems like this kid is not simple for no reason. Demonic Phoenix, who had also sensed Linley's aura, had a look of delight on her face as she spoke. Then, they quieted down and waited for Lin Ray to wake up. Mom, wake up. I'm little Feng Su. Wake up, please. At this moment, little Phoenix Feng Su came to Lin Ray's side the moment she felt his pressure and whispered to him. However, what disappointed her was that Lin Ray did not pay attention to her at all. There was no reaction at all. This was what made little Phoenix Feng disappointed. I've broken through. I've finally broken through to the divine emperor realm. Next, I'll discover the ultimate god level and strive to reach the peak of the Tao as soon as possible. As he thought about it, Linley hurriedly retracted his aura and pressure. Instantly, Linley, who had been like a god earlier, became so ordinary that he couldn't be described as ordinary. Phew! He took a deep breath and slowly opened his eyes. At this moment, his consciousness and 5 senses that were previously sealed were all unsealed. Mom! Mom! Mom? At this moment, just as Lin Ray unsealed his 5 senses, the voice of a young boy calling for his mother reached his ears. Suddenly, Lin Ray was puzzled. He then turned around and looked towards the direction of the voice. He saw a very beautiful big bird with fiery red feathers, which looked like a flame, calling out to his mother with a blank look on its face. What's going on? Whose house is this? Seeing the big bird calling for his mother, Lin Ray was stunned for a moment. Then, he wanted to shout to the sky. At this moment, a murderous gaze instantly looked towards Lin Ray. A murderous intent instantly spread throughout Lin Ray's body before he could finish a sentence. Suddenly, Lin Ray frowned and his body trembled. Then, he involuntarily shut his mouth. Looking towards the source of the murderous intent, he saw Xiefeng looking at him with a murderous gaze. She looked like she wanted to kill him. Suddenly, Lin Ray understood. The big bird that called for his mother was the huge egg he saw before. However, he didn't understand why the little phoenix would call him mother. Then, Lin Ray, who couldn't figure it out, quickly stood up and thanked Xiefeng. Thank you. I'll remember your help today. In the future, if you have any difficulties, I'll definitely help you. Hearing Lin Ray's words, Xiefeng sneered. All right, don't try to worm your way into being friends with me. I've already said before that this is a deal. Hurry up and think of your 2 conditions. Once you've thought of them, I'll fulfill them. After that, we'll go our separate ways. Hearing Xiefeng's words, Lin Ray's expression became awkward. Then, he wanted to change the topic. However, at this moment, a tiger with a pair of wings similar to Xiefeng's appeared behind Xiefeng's back. Scarlet flame tiger? Looking at the tiger, Lin Ray probed with uncertainty. He wasn't sure if the tiger with the wings in front of him was the scarlet flame tiger. Oh, whoa, young master, you're finally awake. As expected, a cheap voice suddenly sounded. Lin Ray immediately closed his eyes helplessly. However, regarding the scarlet flame tiger's huge change, Lin Ray was still very surprised. He didn't expect the scarlet flame tiger to have such a change. Moreover, Lin Ray also felt the aura emitted from the scarlet flame tiger's body. Damn, this mother of Astra's cur broke through faster than me. The system was right. The flames here are indeed very helpful to the scarlet flame tiger. Not only did it break through to the Emperor God realm, it even gave it a pair of Xiefeng's wings. However, at this moment, the system was also a little surprised. It only told the scarlet flame tiger to cultivate in the flames to increase its cultivation, but it didn't say that the undying flames would have such an effect. Master, I thought you didn't love me anymore. Just as Lin Ray was in a daze, the scarlet flame tiger quickly came to Lin Ray's side and lay on the ground. Its tongue couldn't help but lick Lin Ray's ankle. However, because the scarlet flame tiger was huge, one of its tongues directly wrapped around one of Lin Ray's legs. Damn! Feeling the scarlet flame tiger's actions, he immediately looked down and saw that his pants were completely covered in the scarlet flame tiger's saliva. It was extremely sticky and disgusting. I say, little tiger, can you not do this every time? I can't take it. After saying that, the scarlet flame tiger hurriedly withdrew its tongue and lowered its head, not daring to look at Lin Ray. At this moment, Lin Ray felt that there was movement on his other leg. He immediately looked down and saw a fiery red bird sticking out its tongue and licking his other leg. Damn, Feeling this, Lin Ray, who was about to flip out, suddenly felt Xiefeng's murderous gaze. Immediately, the words that he wanted to say were forcefully swallowed by Lin Ray. It's fine, it's fine. The little bird is quite cute, quite cute. After saying that, Lin Ray inadvertently retreated and hurriedly found a quiet place. Immediately, the illusory spirit Bloodfire appeared and began to evaporate the 2 pants that were already soaked in saliva. All right, let's go. This matter is already like this. There's nothing to be reluctant to leave here. After drying his pants, Lin Ray raised his head and said to Sief Feng, who was beside him, "Yes, it's time to leave." Hearing Lin Ray's words, Sief Feng nodded in agreement. Then, after sighing with emotion, she looked around and revealed a determined expression. "Yes, let's go. After we're done, we'll quickly go to the Holy Mountain. That way, I can see my wife and child." After saying that, Lin Ray came to the Scarlet Flame Tiger's side and indicated for it to squat down. Then, Lin Ray flipped over and sat on its back. Then, he indicated for the Scarlet Flame Tiger to rush towards the barrier above their heads. "Mommy, wait for me." At this moment, the moment Lin Ray flew up on the Scarlet Flame Tiger, a tender voice sounded. After hearing this voice, Lin Ray's body paused, and he almost fell off the Scarlet Flame Tiger. His expression was very helpless, and his heart was filled with grievances. If it called him father, uncle, or brother, he wouldn't say anything. But what the hell was it calling him mommy? At this moment, Lin Ray really wanted to turn his head and explain to the little phoenix, Sief Feng behind him, that he wasn't her mother. However, from Sief Feng's gaze, it seemed like she didn't want him to know who her real mother was. Regarding this, Lin Ray could only do it. After all, he had to deal with Sief Feng now. The Scarlet Flame Tiger's speed was very fast. Soon, the Scarlet Flame Tiger brought them to the barrier. As for Sief Feng and the little phoenix, needless to say, the phoenix race's flying ability was one of the best in the world. Lin Ray didn't have the slightest doubt about this. After glancing at Sief Feng and her son behind him, Lin Ray turned his head and solemnly took out the last boundary-breaking formation. Without turning his head, he said in a serious tone, "In a moment, the formation will appear. Hurry up and leave this place. Don't hesitate." "Okay, got it." At this critical moment, Sief Feng naturally had to listen to Lin Ray. Otherwise, if they wanted to leave this place, they would have to fight to the death. Okay. Looking at Sief Feng's reaction, Lin Ray inadvertently smiled. Then, the formation in his hand instantly hit the barrier. Boom! An enormous vortex instantly appeared. As soon as the formation appeared, Lin Li hurriedly roared angrily at the Holy Sun's evil phoenix. Quick, get out." With a swoosh, before Lin Li's voice had even faded, he sensed 2 figures charge into the formation and disappear. He's so fast. After a deep pause, he recovered in an instant. Then, he drove the Scarlet Flame Tiger into the whirlpool. Boom! Gotcha! At this moment, the moment Lin Ray rushed into the formation, a shocking thunder and lightning instantly appeared in his mind. In addition to the thunder and lightning, there was also a voice. Little doll, you are really good. You can actually release Sief Feng, who was sealed by this lord and the Tao ancestor back then. This lord really admires you." "Huh? Who is it?" As soon as this voice rang out, Lin Li stared vigilantly at his surroundings. Based on that voice, he felt a murderous intent that reached the heavens. This murderous intent was something he had never felt before. It was very strong and very cold. This lord is the lord of the heavenly court in the holy world, Heavenly Emperor Hao Tian. What? Heavenly Emperor Hao Tian of the heavenly court. Hearing the other party's self-introduction, Lin Ray was stunned for a moment. He was not unfamiliar with this name at all, not only in this world, but also in the Aqua Blue planet before he started cultivating. He had heard of this name before. Sief Feng has already broken out. Since this matter is caused by you, if this lord does not punish you, this lord will not be able to erase the anger in his heart. You want to, hearing Hao Tian's words, an ominous premonition rose up in his body at this moment. Since this is the case, then use your eyes as the prize for offending this lord's dignity. What? No, Hearing how Tion's words, Lin Ray was shocked. It should be known that the eyes were an important part of the body and also a part of one's strength. If the eyes were gone, then Kacha, just when Lin Ray was afraid of himself, a black lightning instantly appeared in his mind, accompanied by a stinging pain in his eyes that instantly spread to Lin Ray's whole body. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.